Whoops. Here we are. What's up, everyone? I am trying a new double mic scheme, so you'll have to let us know if you could hear everything. I know I need to lean into mine to make the voice heard, but for some reason it doesn't let me individually adjust the gain. Which you think an audio mixer, that would be an important part.
Yeah.
I think so. But maybe it's just because it's working as an audio interface. So yeah, anyone, if you can't hear us, let us know. But or when you already said something I saw it about, I think you guys will be fine.
Is this us down here?
It's both the same. So
oh, I see.
The mix is on the device.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Anyways, what's up, Pudgy? What's up, Dimitri, Jay Dandy, Large Marge, Rusty, and Farley have said what's up so far. Rick Urbanowski. Oh, yeah. Well, my trainer.
Hey, buddy, I don't know.
It's sitting in a stool for a while, you know. A little bit of chamois cream.
Yeah. Gonna get chapped. Bringing the hard questions.
Maybe they already heard about your bibs flying away.
Oh, yeah.
That you might be a little sore down there.
Oh, well, I haven't heard this story. There is good content tonight. Did you see the title?
Yeah.
Man.
I was like, you have to be probably the perfect age to get that
Right.
reference, right?
Which is your whole demographic on this show.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron's here.
Oh.
Coming in to sneak some
Yeah.
secrets in there and get me in trouble again.
Were there any secrets on this ride? I don't think so.
Nah. I already admitted I gave Chrissy a gift from the airport gift shop. So.
Okay.
So I don't think
Perfect.
there's anything else to hide.
Partially chewed pack of gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron said, I knew the leaning into the mic thing was the way to go, because every time she's on, she's like, hello. And I'm like, you don't. It's set up so you don't have to do that. I was telling Micah before he came on, this mic is powered and this is a condenser, so running them to the same thing is a
I don't know what the hell you're saying.
problem. Yeah. This just actually has...
Wait, are we on the right?
Yeah.
Are we on the right stream?
Yeah.
Is this condenser talk? Yeah.
Welcome to Condenser Talk. Oh, Erin said she'll only be here a minute. She has to get up at 4:30.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Anyways, what's up, Raymond? What's up, everyone else? So, as you guys probably saw from the title, and if you've been around here for a while, you've seen Micah and Albert on the stream before. Micah is a artist, a designer, art teacher. Is that?
That's about it.
Yeah. Just those
all
things.
the things we want to
Has
list.
a huge exhibit at the Summit Art Space right now, and also, as usual, I have a couple of his designs on. And Albert is the owner of Akron Coffee Roasters, downtown Akron, an Asterisk Coffee Bar in downtown Cuyahoga Falls. So, I got both those on too. Wow, I really...
Nice. You really are ripping.
What are we doing?
Yeah. I'm just glad I have all my clothes on
Yeah.
right now. Yeah. Not my bibs.
So, they've been on before, and I think the first time was after Micah came on after the Fool's Loop in Arizona, which he had to get almost airlifted
Life
out.
flighted out of, yeah.
Not really, but close. And Aaron said, yeah, enough about me, let the boys dish.
We only got a minute. We can't fit it in for.
Yeah, right. And go.
Let's see. Someone said it doesn't seem like my mic is picking up. Well, I think I probably pick up enough over there. It's jumping into the yellow. Anyways, so an interesting story about the Fool's Loop. And then what was the name of the route you guys did the second time? Bikepacking.com route.
The terrible ridgeline, poorly planned, underrated route on bikepacking.com. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was called.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Something regular or
Wrangler?
That
The
was
Blue Ridge,
Blue Ridge
Wrangler?
Wrangler? Yeah.
Some
That's
Carolinas, North Carolina?
Virginia.
Virginia, that's right, Virginia.
Real north on the Blue
Which
Ridge.
went a little haywire, a lot of hike-a-bike, a lot of getting lost and finding yourself backtracking on the same trail
Back to
without
the
knowing
start.
it.
Yeah.
So when they said they were planning this trip, I was like, I'll reserve a slot for you guys on the stream to explain this. So like I said, if you saw the title, a Bill and Ted reference, but Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey is what we're here to find out. So you flew into Albuquerque and then you went to Santa Fe and that was your home base.
Yeah.
And instead of a big loop, it was day trips. But I think you guys should start, so just so we have a reference for what you guys did, that was the plan. But you flew out of Cleveland, and I think the flying out of Cleveland story is...
That's right.
It's
what we
always
need
the
to-
biggest
what we need
hurdle
to
is
do
just getting out of
first,
Cleveland, for sure.
It is. Yeah, I had, right when we were starting to plan our flights, it's always a question of who allows you to ship your bike. Most airlines do, but what's the cost going to be? What's the process? Almost, seems like no airline has an actual like button you click on their website to say I want to pay for my bike. Mm-hmm. So, and I am not comfortable showing up at the airport with that stuff and just hoping they take it as checked luggage. I don't think really either of us are. That's like the main purpose of the trip, and so I'd love to have that dialed in before we even leave. So I had called their customer service, and basically the agent was reading the website back to me, which of course I had read and had no information on it. So she was discovering things along with me, but it eventually confirmed that it was like $30. It's the same as our checked bag fee. We've waived all other fees, but it does have to be under 50 pounds.
So $30 under 50 pounds. What airline is this?
That was
That's-
United.
Wow, that's cheap.
So cheap.
I just flew with a bunch of camera gear with guys to Charlotte, and it was over $800 for everything we
Just for
brought.
shipping.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Yeah,
that was
nice thing is usually when they do a lot of the bike boxes, sometimes you're allowed to go over the 50 pounds. So even though you're paying a little extra, you can just throw everything in there
Toss it
and
in.
get that extra like weight just included. But this one
our
was
first trip. It was 100 pounds.
right. It was 100. So we just everything we needed was in that
Your
box.
panniers, whatever.
Everything, all the food, this one. So this one, we were packing them up, and I mean, you could barely get the bike and a pair of shoes in the box without getting up to the 50 pounds pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
it was cheap, but it was also you had to deal with that 50-pound weight limit.
So I had I went ahead and paid ahead of time for our checked bags. We were all set. Get to the airport. Albert dropped us both off. Went to park the car, and I saw there was one of the outdoor scales. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to weigh our individual bikes and see where we're at. I couldn't reset the scale. It was at 4.5 pounds. I'm like, just remember that, put it up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Albert's is coming in at 44 pounds. He's got all kinds of space. He can toss a few more things in that box. Mine came in at 49. And I was pretty sure I was well over 50. So it's like, wow, that's great. Oh my gosh, I'm in really good shape here. So Albert's like, nah, I'm sure mine was 49 pounds. I used our mailing scale. I'm pretty sure that was
I use a lot of
accurate.
scales.
Yeah.
Pretty familiar with
So he went out and checked the scale. It wasn't plus 4.5. It was minus 4.5. So he was right at 50 pounds, and I was well over. So we go up, and through a long conversation, one of the agents comes over immediately to check on us, and she's kind of a little nervous, but a little busybody about trying to get us moving.
the first lady. Oh yeah,
She was really trying to get us
Just at your
going.
normal ticket counter when you walk in. Yeah.
She saw us. She was very friendly. She kind of wanted to make sure that she kind of
Yeah.
made sure we got it, ushered us through, and
So she looks up, and this other woman, who we'll just call Karen, because that's kind of who she was, starts making her way over. She's like, I knew she would come over. Man, she's going to come over. It's going to be a problem. It's like,
you're in her hands now.
yeah. So this woman was not convinced that we were allowed to do this. First thing, she's like, no, you can't check bikes on this. Hockey bags, yeah. Golf clubs, sure. Not bikes. I was like, well, of course we can. I've already talked to your people about this. Well, no. So I pull it up on my phone, all the information I'd found, I share it with her. Another woman comes over and says, well, no. The $30 is to buy a box to put the bike in. And we all kind of look at her, and the original woman that was helping us looks at her. She's like, we don't sell boxes. We're just like, oh, man, this is really we're in the weeds. So they all go away. They talk to somebody else. They get their approval. But now Karen is like, these boxes have to be less than 50 pounds. Otherwise, it's $100 plus. 150. So Albert's goes up on the scale. It's 51 pounds. She's cool with it, though.
She's going to let that pound slide.
Yeah, tape it up. Let's get it out of here. She's pretty flustered at this point. She wants us gone. Put mine up there, my big hog. It's 59 pounds. I'm like, oh, no.
I think the first time was over 60.
She's like, no, absolutely not. This will not stand. So I'm like, well, I had tossed a ton of stuff in there. So I start pulling out my storage bags and all the stuff. I get down to the point that I just have my shoes, helmet, and then the bike. And it's still like 56 pounds. Like, oh, man, I don't know that I can really take much more out of here. And I had brought a tote bag, so I was stuffing that full of stuff, but I'm starting to think, like, I'm not going to be able to carry this on.
Yeah. I
had a backpack as well. And so I'm watching the little scale number, and I'm getting in that bag. And I see it flicker from 56 to 49, and then back to 56. I'm like, what the heck? And I kind of look down, and I see my good friend Albert is very close to the bike bag where it's hanging over by us, and his toe is ever so gently placed below the corner of my bike bag. And sure enough, wouldn't that weight scale go back to 50 pounds when he lifts his toe back up? He took off just enough weight off that bike bag. And she saw it. As soon as it hit 50, she's like, all right, you're in. Great.
Oh, 50, great.
Slaps the sticker on it. I immediately leaned on the bike bag as I'm zipping it up, so I'm putting my weight on it to throw that off.
Did she know, or did she want to push you through?
No, she wasn't.
I don't think she had any idea.
She just looked and saw the 50.
She was talking to the other agents and like waiting for Micah to unpack it, and then she just kind of happened to look over to check to see how we were doing. And she like saw it. She's like, oh, 50, great.
Oh my God.
So we get that thing in there, immediately turn around, we're just both crying, laughing, like, holy crap. We're now putting our lives in these people's hands as we're about to get on their plane. This is how official it is.
The plane crashes 2 miles short of the runway. Yeah.
Didn't have enough fuel. Yeah.
Oops.
Absolutely amazing.
Did you see Kim's comment, by the way?
No.
Micah's wife said, my parents wanted to know if this was the trip with the same guy that tried to kill Micah last time.
Yep. Indeed. And speaking of Kim, I immediately was like, you will not believe what just happened at the airport. She's like, how are you going to get home? I was like, Albert's toe.
Yeah.
She's like, that's never going to work again. It did.
Did you
Spoiler
say the way
alert.
home they were totally cool about bikes?
They didn't even look at the scales. They just like, we put it up there and they just grabbed them and pulled them through.
Yeah. And at that point, it was kind of the reverse story. I unzipped the bike bag and threw everything I had into it. Yeah. Like, I'm not carrying this.
Did you have any trouble then getting on with all the stuff you had taken out?
That was another cool thing with United. You were able to have a carry-on and a personal item. So, as it turned out, as it always does, sorry about that. All that. You think you're carrying so much stuff, and then you see what other people show up with.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I have nothing on this flight.
Because my personal item is always like my immediate camera bag, which I will not let go of. You know, my camera and like so. Yeah.
Yeah. On the way home, though, they did say it was a limited weight flight.
Well, I think they were saying it was full, so they were trying to get like people to check them so they can put more stuff below.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and they do all. They try and get everyone to gate check.
Yeah.
Right.
They always try and get me to do that. I'm like, cameras, computers, there's not a chance. Like, I'm not letting this go for the life of me. But
not without my child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you lose a GoPro doing that one?
I did, and like 3 lenses.
Yeah.
So, lesson learned. Yeah. As I check everything in my bike bag. Not lesson learned.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be carrying that much extra because you guys kind of plan to
Right.
be riding with the stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have tents, sleeping bags, food,
Yeah.
minimal
Oh, we would have been screwed
luggage.
if we had planned for that type of trip. We would have had to pay the overage. 'Cause
Yeah.
There was no way we would have gotten that stuff
Yeah,
down
for
to
sure.
to the weight.
But I mean, I will say that before the trip, I was most nervous about the flight home, just because I had to teach the next day, and our flight was getting back fairly late that evening. And after I was on spring break for like a week and a half, I was just like, man, I do not want to have to call my principal and explain that I can't come back to work after being away for almost 2 weeks because, my flight's delayed. Knew Albert had a ton of work coming back, and so I just kind of had this fear that we were going to have flight delays on the way home. And all of our travel stuff was so silky smooth. It was really seamless. Really amazing.
Which is amazing these days because no one seems to ever have that story anymore.
I know.
I've flown twice this year and it's been
Delays.
I've had problems both times. I'm glad I didn't miss a connector.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting in town one, I thought I'd get there and have a day. Nope, got in super late, enough time to go to bed and have a beer. And then coming home one time, I got stuck at the airport in Akron, Canton, on the runway, just trying to get to
brutal.
the gate. Yeah,
when you're that close.
Yeah. Anyways.
So yeah, we ended up staying over in Albuquerque overnight because our flight into New Mexico was fairly late in the evening, and we didn't want to rush to try to get to Santa Fe. But then the next morning,
So we called ahead like a few hotels in the Albuquerque area because we knew that we were obviously had to stay the first night in Albuquerque, but then the plan was to build the bikes in Albuquerque and take just the bikes on the train to Santa Fe. So we wanted to leave the bike boxes in Albuquerque so they wouldn't have to haul those on the train. So we had called a few hotels beforehand to make sure that they could at least store bike boxes for the week while we were gone.
Nice.
And so it was real easy. That hotel actually came and picked us up, and like a shuttle from the airport to the hotel.
Yeah.
Fit both of our bike boxes in the minivan, awkwardly,
with some
but
work.
Really?
Yeah.
Totally didn't care about it. And then we brought them down in the morning, and they just like grabbed them and said like, "Have a good trip," and like, "See ya."
They were so sweet.
Didn't even say a word like, "When are you gonna be back?" Like anything. Was just like, "Okay." See
We
ya."
weren't staying there.
We weren't staying there on the
overnight
way,
when we came
when
back.
So
We
they
just-
just like threw them on top of their like washing machines, I think.
I think so. They were so sweet.
So days in Albuquerque if you ever need to stay.
That's right. And
Yeah.
best sausage in Albuquerque.
Pretty good stuff.
It's probably the same sausage we had, so you'll get to experience it. Yeah.
That's all. I forgot about that problem. Like when I go in Airbnb places.
Yeah.
Like I had a last day in Tallahassee. Then I realized like I started Googling like where can I take my bags.
Yeah.
And I realized I was stuck with my bags all
Right.
day. Like,
What do you do with this? Yeah.
And I had I brought these stupid long bags for tripods because I was doing a video
right.
job. And you're like,
You can't ride with that stuff easily, yeah.
You're just dragging them around everywhere.
we did see at the train station once we got
Yes.
there, they had bike like lockers at the train station, so we could have taken the boxes to the train station and put them in a bike locker for the week.
Which would be cool next time to try, or it's even a thought for other cities to see
yeah,
if they have
I would
those.
imagine a lot of cities have those at the train station.
Yeah, it probably depends on where you are. Like Tallahassee, not train.
Probably
no
not.
Train service that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlotte probably wouldn't have been very good for that either.
It was one of those things on the Fool's Loop that we had gotten through, silly lengths to make sure we could store our bike boxes. And we got a U-Haul, and it worked, or like a U-Haul storage space. It worked. It was fine. But then I had talked to Brent about their trip out to Fool's Loop maybe a year before we had gone, or maybe it was earlier in the year. Anyways, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we just stayed at a hotel and they just held onto our bike boxes." And I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that does make sense, doesn't it?" Yeah, they'll do that. So file that one away.
I think those are important tips though, because someone like me, and I think a lot of people are nervous about flying with their bikes. You haven't done it, or breaking it down and how it goes, and what do you do with all that stuff? Do you have to find a new bike shop to buy a new box from?
Yeah, that's probably one of the bigger hurdles.
Yeah.
It is a little nerve-wracking. But then the payoff of having your own bike is so nice.
I know.
That it's really, the trade-off is so worthwhile. And it's cool to like go through the process of putting it together and really think about, I guess, just learning a little bit about your bike that you're going to be riding on all week. And then if anything fails on it, like, yeah, that was me. I didn't tighten those. Didn't tighten that headset enough.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes where renting a bike could be cool. Maybe you get to rent something awesome. But like when I went to Tallahassee, like I hated the bike.
Yeah, you're not gonna
most of the
be
time.
as comfortable.
The bike shop didn't help me set it up at all, so I'm stopping and trying to adjust it with my multi-tool. Like, riding your own bike is just.
And I mean, if I was a bike shop owner, I would not rent me a bike.
Exactly.
I mean, knowing the trips that we've gone on.
We're
the bike shop's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Where are you guys gonna go?
Yeah, the number of times of just ridiculous things that happen to the bike that you're like, okay, I'm glad this is mine. Tell you what, the Rio Rail Express that we took from Albuquerque.
So that's what the straight line is the train between Albuquerque
and it's basically those are the two terminus.
Yeah.
So we started at downtown Albuquerque station and ended at Santa Fe Depot.
Is it really that straight, or is this your Strava?
It must
have started and stopped and started and draw the line.
And it goes directly over this
mountain. Yeah, it was very adventurous. I just turned off my GPS and then turned it back on when we got there. But it had bike storage. Very, very simple bike storage, but they were, again, very cool about, you just put your bike on here. And at one point, there were 4 bikes on our way home. We just kind of stacked them against each other, even though there wasn't really space for them. Train was comfy. It was so cheap. It's like $9 there and then $2 back.
Really?
It was incredible. So, should anyone travel to Santa Fe, or I know if I go again, when I go again, it's good to know that all those things are set up and it's really, really easy to use.
So when you got in, is this just kind of cruising around town and then to your Airbnb? Like,
we got to town.
Oh, this is morning.
Yeah. So it dropped us off right in kind of the center of Santa Fe, the rail station, which is the old historic rail station area. And so we popped over to REI and immediately rode down the steps to REI, both realizing our tires were way too inflated, just like hammering down the steps. That was fun. So did a little, kind of grab some supplies, grab some things we needed, and then made our way over to the B&B.
This was all like the first day?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think this is where our Airbnb is up where the little dot is.
I figured that's where you ended. Was the and I think didn't you have a couple pictures of getting there?
Maybe that was our
Airbnb.
That was our hotel the first night.
Oh, so this is in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So you rode the Cutthroat?
Fargo. Yeah.
So that's.
Yep. That was
station,
Albuquerque. Yeah, exactly.
You rode Monsoon?
Yep.
Yeah. Was the...
I realized that my cleats might have been a little worn down.
That's the trip to REI in the winter.
Yeah. I couldn't keep my shoe clipped into the pedal. Yeah. I'm like, we're probably going to need to replace those. So, yeah.
So would this be the first day of riding then?
Mm-hmm.
So on that day, we, after we dropped things off at the Airbnb, which was a beautiful home, really cool neighborhood, we went down south of town, kind of southwest, I guess, of Santa Fe to Galisteo Basin. I think it's the one you just closed, actually.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm like, done with that one, to move on.
Yeah, it's going to be down there a ways. So Galisteo Basin Preserve, I think it goes up a little bit, is about 20 miles southwest of town on a rail trail.
It's like it's like directly south.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, to get to the rail trail, we did end up on a highway within like half hour of our ride.
75-mile-an-hour highway.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're on
really?
Yeah.
we were on a highway.
Is that what this
For
is?
like
This
2
is
hours.
Yeah.
Where's the satellite view?
And then it dumped us onto just the most beautiful gravelly rail trail.
Oh, so you're just on the side of this guy, huh?
Yeah. Which then we realized next to that is a really nice access road that we rode back.
Yeah.
Oh,
on the way
that's
home.
why
It
you're.
followed the same.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
satellite. Yeah, shows that right there.
It's a weird thing with the Wahoo. I sometimes will use the Element app to
Yeah.
like, okay, we want to get to this point, punch in the address, have it route you, and you'd think that it would find bicycle-friendly routes. But there's been a few times like that example that it popped me onto roads that I just thought, there's no way this is the best way for me to get there, or the safest way. And that was one of those instances where it's like, oh my gosh, it's putting us on Route 25.
Me and Ben were talking about, we both have Element bolts. He has the version 1, I have the version 2. His would take us like through these, like when we were in Connecticut, these amazing gravel roads. Like one had a bridge that had clearly been washed out for 20 years.
Wow.
Where we literally were like handing the bikes over like a
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing
raging
that, yeah,
creek. And then mine would like route me onto stuff like you're talking about. And I'm like,
Weird.
why is that happening? I didn't get it.
I wonder
'cause
if
it
that's
should be
in the
using,
settings.
It's
Yeah.
not like the computer's doing it. It's using the app, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Okay. Weird. This this went from kind of a normal, maintenance vehicle wide dirt road to a little bit of narrower, like single track, wide trail at times, but was just really simple and pretty.
Right
and-
along a railroad, so it was all
Oh, yeah, you can see it.
railroad grade the whole way
Yeah,
out to the.
out to that preserve.
So this is more of a chill day, kind of.
Chill day, and then the preserve was mountain bike trails.
Oh, nice.
It
We're-
did, yeah.
I said we were both feeling the elevation. We had just gotten into town, so we were both feeling the elevation at this
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Like
So it was about 7,000 feet or 7,500 feet at some points.
yeah, so we were kind of felt like we were pushing for 20 and like moving at 10.
Yeah. Yeah, especially on the way back, it was just like lead legs. Just,
I've only hiked, so I guess I've never been out there like exerting myself on a bike ride. So elevation has never bothered me.
Yeah.
Well, anytime I've been out there, but again, there's probably a total different level of exertion to riding, because I've never gone for a run out there either. So
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like you don't have that next like extra little push or like you just feel like you're carrying like a lead wheel or something.
Felt real heavy.
Just yeah.
And it was very sunny. It was a beautiful day. But it was windy and sunny, and I just felt really heat soaked. I think just the mix of things, riding, in the elevation, the sun, and not having seen sun here for a while. And but it was a gorgeous day. And then the Basin Preserve, as you saw on the map before, it's got a whole network of trails that people can ride. And it goes down, below this map quite a bit. There's some housing developments that they're building in that area, but it's mostly nature preserve. A lot of hiking. All the trails are mixed use, hiking and biking, running. We did run into, like you see all the numerical symbols and a little bit of alphabet mixed in.
yeah.
I really wish they would have had, like when you got to number 1, I wish they would have had an arrow pointing to number 2 or number 8 to be like, if you go this way, you're going to get to 2. If you go this way, you get to 8. Because I had a hard time orienting myself when I would get to each waypoint. And then we found on the Dale Ball trails, they did do that. They had pretty good clear markings of like,
They at least
hey, if
had
you go
arrows of
left
which
or
way
right.
like the next number was, but it just seems strange that there's like one loop, but there's like 6 or 8 different numbers you have to know to follow, rather than being like this is the number 1 loop or this is the number 2 loop, and just follow the ones all the way around.
Yeah.
It's like this way goes to this point and this way goes to that point, and you have to like remember like, oh, we're gonna turn right at 7 and left at 6. And
Yeah, there's some chanting like, all right, left at 7, right at 6.
trying to keep that like in your rhythm. Yeah. So
You're going to conjure some spirit.
That's funny. I know when I've been on stuff like that where I'm doing that
hate
to myself. Like, left, 7, right.
Because the second I forget about it, it'll be out of my mind
Yeah.
completely.
So how, like the mountain biking Oh, good.
I'm just reading what Patrick said here. I think the Wahoo computers are pretty good, but for navigation, probably better to load a route from Ride with GPS or Komoot. Yep.
We usually
Follow on the
do
computer.
too. Like
Yeah.
we're usually making them on Ride with GPS, or even Strava
Right.
now has really good route building even on the phone. Like the first night we were in Syracuse on our way to Connecticut, like I just picked a route someone had made for Syracuse for people who wanted to ride there, and the navigation worked great, loaded it was great. But when me and Ben were then like toured all of Connecticut, he was literally putting it in on the Wahoo app on the fly, and his Wahoo was just killing it.
Wow.
And so we'd both do it, and then we'd end up just following Ben's instead.
How
And then
interesting.
mine would show me when we were back on where they like dovetailed together. So it's kind of really strange. That
Really
they would,
strange, yeah.
I don't know, they're different firmwares, like using different map sets, but
Yeah, and I agree too with what Patrick's saying. But I love that that aspect of the Element app, so that if you are just kind of piecing things together, you go out to dinner in a new
Yeah.
town, and you're like, well, how do we get back? You know, and you don't have to think about it. You can just punch in your address, and it routes it out for you.
that's a big negative of a couple of the computers don't have good apps, whereas Wahoo actually does have a
Okay.
built-out app.
That's nice.
Again, I think they're right. Like if you want to load routes,
yeah,
plan ahead.
Something
Load
complex.
a real route from somewhere better, maybe. But yeah, to just get home when you need to,
right.
from to the brewery or whatever, the hotel.
It's pretty great.
Are these the mountain bike trails?
Yeah, this was Sphinx Overlook. So it was a nice climb up to that area, looking over everything.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but that's no
Way
overlook,
out,
so you're
yeah,
kind of
it's-
like you're way up higher than those trees are. So.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're looking close,
Kinda
you
looks
can
like.
see how you're looking across at the other mountains.
Yeah.
Is this zoom in light? Oh yeah, there. That gives
There
a
you
better,
go.
better idea.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool. I would say both these mountain bike trails and the Dale Ball trails that we did were not terribly technical, but they were just like really quick burst climbs, then a long switchback section of climbing, and then fun flowy stuff once you get to the top. And then heading back down, we did find some really challenging stuff that sketched me out. Albert handled it really well. Almost got them all on the second time. Yeah. But like really loose, steep
Like
descents with like just hairpin switchbacks and like exposed cliff.
Oh,
That just looking at it, I was like, yep, dismount. Gonna walk this one right around the switchback, not doing it. It was amazing to watch him work through those things. But that was the anomaly, I would say. Most of it was
most of
really
it's
friendly.
nice friendly single track. Not easy, but
No.
just technical enough that it was like a little bit challenging and fun, but definitely.
so
Yeah.
these would be where you rode mountain. That'd be like
Exactly. And you can see in the dirt where we didn't ride, where the rest of the trails would continue kind of to the left and south of us.
Out in
There's quite a bit that you could explore down there.
And how did you guys feel about like bike selection? Do you like would you have changed it, or did you feel like you had the right bike for the job?
I love that Fargo.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it, and if there was a way on the fly to be able to switch from 2-inch to 3-inch tires by pressing a button, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because most of the route down there, I would have definitely benefited from skinnier tires, but that bike is so fun to ride.
How wide do you have on the Monsoon? Like 2.5s or something?
48.
48s? Oh, okay. So like just like 2 inches then, right?
Yeah.
It's a little
Oh.
less than 2. I think
Probably
50
less
is
than,
2.
Yeah, there was a few times where I probably could have used just a little bit more tire, but I'd say 98% of the time I was happy to have what I did have on there,
Yeah.
as opposed to like riding with those 98%, like something bigger 98% of the time and having to carry something bigger around. But yeah, they did great.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm someone who likes to be. I'd rather be slightly underbiked sometimes if the majority of the time is the other way. But like you were saying, if you're comfortable on yours, some people don't mind it. So it's
Yeah,
totally
exactly.
preference.
And that Fargo can get moving if you. It's really wind dependent. I found with that bike.
Yeah.
If there is a significant wind, I feel pretty challenged on it. But if it's a calm day, and we had a lot of wind there a couple of days, but it was so dry and arid that it wasn't a humid, thick wind. So it was some resistance, but it wasn't like it is here.
Oh, you really feel that difference with the...
I felt it, yeah. It was like, I'm not fighting this quite as much. Because the one day it was up to 65-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, there were 2 days we were there that had like wind,
65?
wind advisories, and we went out in the morning, and you could just hear the storm coming across the region. And once it got there, it was just like whipping through. But, yeah.
Our sweet B&B host who lived next door just kept messaging me. She's like, guys, I'm home. I'll happily drive you to the grocery store if you want to get groceries. I just realized you only have your bikes. I can wait for you in the parking lot, or you can Uber home, whatever you want to do. I was like, yeah, we're cool. We'll be fine. And probably 3 or 4 times she reached out. She's like, I'm really worried for you guys. Are you okay?
Most of the locals had that kind of
Yeah.
perspective too, and kind of like caution, like, you take this stuff seriously. Like,
Yeah. We probably should have, but I was like, you don't know the kind of dumb that we are.
yeah.
So, we're a different breed of dumb.
Yeah.
So that was in the same spot that we were zooming in on.
Overlook.
Yeah, I'm thinking about... Like, yeah, because if you go out in that kind of wind and it's sandy, it would be like pelting you with sand.
And that's what
Someone warned
one
us.
of the guys on the first day kind of warned us about, the dust storms.
Yeah. He's like, you'll see it coming, and then you'll be inside of it.
Yonda's getting on my case for saying 2.5 and 2.5 is not the same.
Get him, Yonda, get him.
2.6, I guess, would be 2.5, right?
That's true. Yeah,
I mean,
good point.
math.
I know. Come on. Leave that to the mechanics.
I still come from the road world so much more where I have to, like, I just wish it went millimeters all the way
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah,
I have
right.
to call, like, 29s, which are 700 Cs, or,
Yeah.
27.5, which are 650s. Like, why it always has to,
Right. Standardize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though, people were warning us and were very aware of the weather, one of the cool things about places like Santa Fe was no one was fazed about anything we were doing. When we ended up on top of the ski mountain, anywhere we were riding, anything we were doing, first of all, we were seeing other people there, out in the middle of nowhere, we both were like, this is the coolest nursing home I've ever been to. 'Cause Santa Fe is just
really
old
is.
people.
Bunch
We were,
people exploring.
our last day, we were out in the middle of nowhere, deep in the woods. And there was a group of probably a dozen elderly people sitting on a rock having lunch. I was like, is this like midsummer? Are they about to have a death rite? Or are they going to climb up and jump? Or is this just,
They're being hailed out.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Nobody was like, why are you out here? Or what do you think you're doing? Are you okay? Why are you on bikes? It just was the assumption was we must know what we were up to.
Yeah, they probably think you're the one who will save them if necessary.
Oh, good.
Wrong.
Good, the young guys are out here.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're going all wide angle here.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you have the sweepbacks on that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lots of control.
But on the descent, you like that on the descent?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Didn't
low
seem to
side.
stop him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This man is fearless. Yeah, I really love that. Like getting in the front of that lowering my center of gravity and sketchy stuff. Like,
We were talking
We were
about
talking-
that.
that
Yeah.
came up
We actually talked about you on
Your
that.
video from your Pennsylvania trip,
oh yeah.
your GoPro, and you're down in the drops the whole way. I'm just like, what is he doing?
Really?
Yes.
I'm like locked in.
Yeah, you're
like I'm low, so I'm not like shaky. You're like up here just riding like you're
I'm turning here.
going to get groceries. Yeah.
I think it was when we were going down those tight switchbacks.
Like,
How's it get down in there?
Well, you're running drops on there.
Nope, I had
Oh,
a
you
flat.
are?
I had a flat bar. Yeah.
I think I just like my mind all just assuming everyone's on drops.
Yeah.
I also don't. So I think Sweetback gives me a better hand position because it's more similar to hoods. But like really, I always think of mountain bikers on flats, and I understand the idea of leverage, but at the same time, like, I love that safety of, like, the way a drop, like your hands are, like, locked in there. Like, because this is the way you hold your hands naturally, right? So, but,
Yeah, but
That's what those are like.
unless you're
they're
gonna
kinda
fight,
scumbag.
then you're like,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny that you
Yeah,
guys
those
think
are
that
like
about me, and I'm like, how are they riding on these things? And you're like, how is he riding on this thing? Yeah. Yeah.
I think this must have been our second day. We
So this is found the
found
snow.
the snow.
Yeah, it's Tsuke.
Yep. That was sweet. Climbed quite a bit up Bishop's Lodge Road. We were in such a cool spot for our Airbnb because we were placed perfectly between Bishop's Lodge Road, which was one major road, not a highway by any means, but an access road, and then Hyde Park Road
Is it Hyde-
on the other
Hyde
side.
something,
Yeah, Hyde Park.
Oh yeah, so this is like kind of one big climb.
Yeah.
So we're starting in.
It ended up being the same exact, I guess, peak that we were going after on that Sunday as well, just
Mhm.
coming from a different angle.
Yeah, we just ended up going up higher on that
But
Sunday.
yeah, this one kind of went back down.
So you're at almost 10,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we started at about 7,400 and then immediately dropped 800 feet
Yeah, we were. I mean,
into this beautiful
Well below
Tsuki
it.
Valley.
very nice, lush like valley.
So sweet, and
Some
then
farms down in that area.
immediately started climbing it up. But it was one of those climbs that I don't know. It's so rare to have that extended of a climb.
Yeah, I've never done it because where we live.
Right, and
Yeah,
there
it's at
comes a
least 10
point
miles.
where you just settle in because it's like, well, this is not going to happen quickly.
Yeah,
And
because this looks like an average that must be near 7 or 8% for the whole climb, huh?
it was pretty much,
I mean, it's
yeah.
definitely changing all the time because it's.
Yeah, we
Oh,
kind of
it's
kick
okay.
and just kind of continue. Yeah, but it was,
It was a significant climb grade for a lot of it. Yeah, you just kind of get into this rhythm where, I don't know, it feels almost like it's flattened out, but you just are going to average 5 miles an hour,
Yeah.
6 miles an hour. And then when it really does drop down to 2% or so, it really feels flat. Like you start picking up your pace. You're like, oh, nice, awesome. Am I going downhill? And you're really just climbing at
Yeah.
2%.
I was sprint. I mean, I would get out of the saddle and sprint like every time it would get to like 5 or 4 or 5, and like
And
it
that,
felt good. I mean,
Yeah.
you felt like you were taking off.
I got that at Jake's Rocks when we were mountain biking, and then all of a sudden you're just on a gravel road with like a 4, and you're like, oh, this isn't a hill.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and it's a nice measuring system, like your barometer changes. And I think for both of us that day, we realized, oh, I'm not really struggling to breathe.
It felt a lot better.
I feel
Wow,
strong,
you
legs feel
adjusted.
strong.
Mhm.
That first big day ride, I think, really helped us click into our space.
Yeah, you lock in until you turn the corner and see snow.
Yeah.
So
This descent looks like, because so right here, it
Just
looks like
constant.
it looks like an even descent, but looking at that profile, it's curvy. So is that like, can you get
The
speed,
first-
or were you pretty
the first few miles had a few good turns on it, but it does kind of even out,
Yeah.
around here? It's
level
kind of
out, and
gradual.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot more gradual. That
It was interesting,
Second
too, because
half.
they're right at the top. I noticed on this day and then on Sunday, because we rode some of the same stuff on Sunday on the way down, you would start to bomb down and it would immediately climb up again as it came around the next turn. So you'd lose all your speed. And then you'd it would hold you somewhere around 18 to 20 miles an hour for a lot of it. There were some parts where you could really lock in, and
yeah, but I don't think we
Take
got
turns.
over like 44, 45.
no, that was top. Yeah.
still faster than I was going. Is this what that climb
fast.
looked like?
Yeah.
So this is the climb we were just looking at.
A little bit of it was like Fool's Loop. We
Yeah, there
both
were some
felt like it
embedded
was-
rocks and stuff, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was mostly just nice dirt, gravel.
Oh,
So you turn
so
the corner and see that.
how high were you when you saw this?
Maybe 8,000 feet. Because
It was
we
higher
went
than
over
that.
that, right?
We stopped here because we thought we were kind of, just done on that route. But we realized we can kind of pass through on the right. And it must have just been this part was like in the shade or something because it opened back up after that. And there was a few parts we just had to kind of skirt around the snow, but we were able to get around it. Yeah, that was probably around 9. Because on the Sunday, anything above 11 was covered in snow, but this was probably like, maybe above 9.
So just, like a shady
Just
hillside
right.
that was steep.
Right.
Yeah, I remember I think one of you guys said, like, escaped Ohio.
Escaped Ohio. Still stuck in the snow.
Oh, yeah, there's a little closer.
Yeah, so that little pathway on the right, like Albert was saying, was just wide enough to ride on. And then that opened up. But then Sunday's ride, which we'll get to, a lot of the ride ended up being on that little pathway. You just kind of hugged it.
Did you get, like, at the...
meat sticks?
Yeah. Is this the descent then?
Yeah.
On the other side? Was there a good, like, did you know you were at the peak on that? Like, was there a kind of a...
There was, so once we came out of the dirt road, we popped out onto this paved road, and you could have turned left, and that road continues all the way up to the top of that mountain.
Okay.
And the route we were following turned right to descend back down. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that was...
Yeah.
The way you were going.
Yeah.
What is that?
It was a warning sign, but someone had broken the top off to make it into a heart.
Nice.
Like, these are a little out of order. This is down in the Tasuki Canyon again.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you had a couple videos, too. Do you know?
Yeah, first few are from, probably the first 4 or 5 are from the Galisteo area. That's that royal trail. Yeah, it was beautiful. There was some washboard stuff, but yeah, I mean, the weather was just, I don't think it got really over 70, but bright blue skies, lots of sun.
Oh, this is where you said riding along the train tracks.
Yeah.
Rusty said, but why not go all the way up?
We tried.
That was
on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the Sunday ride.
So are these the mountain bike trails from day one then?
Mm-hmm. This is the one that, it's not on the video, but filming away, having fun, turn off the camera, go to throw it in my little, like, snack bag. Right as I'm coming around a turn that is pretty tight, like, don't have my hands on the handlebars. I'm like, oh, God!
Oh, okay.
Almost went right into the bushes. I think this is on the way home where we found the best mezcal selection in all of Santa Fe.
Side of the road, just like convenience store. Incredible mezcal selection.
Really?
I was like, oh, that's a good indication of what this town has.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get any there. And then we did go to the liquor store later, and like it didn't actually have that good of a selection. And I was like, gotta go back to that side of the road joint.
I've done that on trips before too, thinking, even with coffee, I'm like, oh,
well, if it's here, we can get that anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, get it while you can. Yeah, this is through that Tasuki Canyon. It's just a quiet, sweet little town, really lush.
Would this be after you were descending down on day 2?
This is the start
The way
of day
out
2.
to day 2.
Ah, gotcha.
Before the climb.
Yeah,
this is the actual climb.
It turns onto that wide road, and then it gets more to the narrow one that we looked at earlier.
Rusty asked if you were rocking flat bars, which I know you said, yeah, you were. Were yours
pretty straight? They have a, like, maybe 13-degree,
we had
16-degree sweep back.
There was a clear picture. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
For Micah's bars.
I like them okay. I was testing them out for the bike that I'm building. Otis and those guys are building for me. They're okay. I don't love them. They've got a little bit of a rise to them as well. And I think I just want something pretty much straight across. Like those purple bars I have.
Yeah.
Those are a little wider than I need, but they're so simple and just flat, straight with a slight bend. I think that's probably more the direction I need to go. These I didn't feel like I had full power on these for some reason. Just my arm position was a little weird. I really felt it on Black Fork on Saturday. I got really cramped up. I lost the feeling in my left hand, like just all kinds of weird things. And I think a lot of it had to do with my bars.
I think that's one of my other big reasons for liking drops is just so many options. You know, they always make fun of my hand positions.
Hey.
Salsa bend bar.
Yep.
That's
what it is.
I said Ben earlier, and everyone's like, "Who's Ben?" Here, take the wheel for a second. I'm gonna grab a beer. Do you want another one?
Yeah.
So anything you put up here is bullshit.
Got it. Yeah, okay. Let's get to Tim's OnlyFans. Let's see. Let's see if we've got something a little more spicy. I think this is when I came up on you with the snow.
Do you need a drink?
I thought I had hid some tequila here last time.
Yeah. You did.
It's gone.
Not good enough.
You're no Easter bunny. My dad was reminding me that, like, I remember as a kid, somebody that we were friends with at our church had gone out to Colorado to go skiing, and they were talking about, yeah, you can wear short sleeves and shorts out there. It's so cool, and you're in the snow, but it's sunny. I always thought about that, and then we were in this weather. It's like, okay, this makes sense. Although, I'll say, again, flashing to Sunday, I did have shorts on, and that snow is very sharp.
Oh, I
Albert
see.
Oh, my ankles are still
Cheaped
gabbed up. Yeah,
Oh, like when we have that in the spring. Yeah, like
Exactly.
gets that crust.
it's really crusty.
Oh, I have some random bottle of clear liquor that Brad left here.
I'm sure it's fine. Yeah.
Sure.
Brad's random clear liquor. Let's see if we can find the one time I've ever passed you on a descent. So there's video footage.
Yeah.
It's not what this is. What he
Oh,
told me.
good. You've had far more suspicious things in your life.
I hope he's watching.
That doesn't even rate. Right now, Brad's feverishly trying to log in to tell you it's his aftershave. Don't do it. What's that taste like?
I don't know.
Good enough to go back for a second try?
I mean, I'm gonna put that right there. And
We'll come back to this one so that one we'll come back to, and Tim's back because it shows some of the forest fire
oh yeah,
that is raging out there right now. Have
It's
you
still
heard
going,
any news
yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Albert spotted it as it was coming up over the mountain, the first view in Santa Fe.
What day?
Basically.
What day was it? The second day?
That was the day that we must have been the third day
Third
because
day.
we
Yeah,
dipped into
started
the
out,
woods.
Dipped in the woods to avoid the wind, but then you were looking at your map, or we were looking at
Yeah.
a trail map, and I had been looking over your shoulder, and there was this white ball coming over the mountains, and I was like, "What is that? Look at that!"
And it just kept growing.
It just kept growing very quickly too, and there were some hikers that were walking by, and it's like, "You guys see this? What is this?" And like at first we're like, "Oh, it looks like a cloud coming over, passing really quickly." But then the one guy's like, "Oh, I was a firefighter for 20 years, and that's a fire." And within like 5 minutes, it just like covered the entire expanse of the sky.
Yeah. And that's the fire that you hear about in the news right now.
Oh.
Just outside of Santa Fe is that one.
Mm.
So for the rest of the trip, it just smelled like a campfire, basically, all through Santa Fe. And that was the same day that the raging winds were happening. So this was the evening of our third day when we went out to dinner, when Jerry, our Airbnb host, was offering to drive us around. We, not the greatest visibility. It was like 5 o'clock, full daylight. Just
the sky is
crazy
just
wind. Yeah.
cloud of smoke.
There's a mess out there.
You pass on the.
I mean, I'm sipping on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sipping on it.
I think he told me originally that someone told him it was moonshine, and I've drank most of it anyways, but I'm like, that tastes like tequila to me.
It tastes like a blend.
Yeah.
I think it was a moonshiner with some, artistic.
That left some of the
Yeah.
Cuervo in the bottle.
It's like, I'm gonna blend.
Because I had
It
been
tastes a little
drinking
like
bourbon.
coconut, like coconut, like pina colada.
Oh
I
God.
think you put some pina colada and moonshine together.
Eee.
Yeah.
Down the hatch. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. I'm good.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah,
Got some coconut flavor to it.
Huh.
It's like when
I can never put my finger on it, and I'm always, anytime I break into that, because I think he brought it over here as a full bottle, so I've done my work on it. But anytime I get into that, I have to be pretty drunk.
Yeah. This is also similar to when we were sitting at the El Rayo court having drinks, and I got some Sotol, which I'd never had. I'm like, what is this stuff about? He's like, well, some of it is kind of tastes like old cheese. Some of it's got notes of like, compost. I'm thinking, all
Cheers,
right,
buddy.
let's
We'll
go.
just pay $12 for that.
Yeah. Down the hatch.
There was one night where I was about to go to an event, and I'm like, all I have is that horrible liquor, but I knew whatever it is. But it's like when we were just getting back into things, and I'm like, I kind of want to drink before I go and photograph this. So I tried to mix it with some stuff I had here, and I took like 2 sips, and I was like, but
Going
it's
dry.
better straight.
I
Yeah,
think it's better straight.
it's already,
Yeah.
it's got its own thing going on. Anyway.
Anyways, on day 3, we knew we were going to have high winds, so we decided to dip into the mountain bike trails, which were pretty
We
wooded.
thought it would be like more protected and sheltered from the
yeah.
wind than exposed like out in the open.
And it worked out really well. This is at one of the higher places, but you can see just how windy it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really pretty dramatic out there.
This does look a lot like where I was. It's
Cool.
like kind of a mountain range over, but
Yeah.
just,
And this would be, I think, balls to the walls. So the Dale Ball Trails, again, if we're staying here, the Dale Ball Trails were the northern section, and then the central section is here. And then there's a southern section here. So these are the balls. And these are the balls. And then there's some balls down there, too. They were amazing. The balls were amazing.
Balls, fun to ride the balls. And
Really
they were
was.
right in the back door, so, I mean, right.
They were
Literally, right?
kind of hanging in
the back
between us and Santa Fe.
go over the elevation profile
Oh, yeah.
real quick so you can see.
So yeah, you can see again. We start somewhere around here. Now to get to the trails, we rode through our neighborhood, which was a pretty significant warm up.
Yeah, rolling out the
gets
door,
like
and
it.
climbing like 400 or 500 feet.
Yeah. By the time you got to the entrance to the trail, you'd already logged quite a bit of climbing. But so yeah, right there is where we would enter the trail, and you can see it's like pretty cool switchbacks. Where's our zoom in?
Oh yeah, you're a Mac guy. There's actually like.
Oh, there's a
you
scroll
can- there's
wheel.
other buttons on.
What are you, a gamer?
Yeah.
It's like a gamer mouse? Okay.
I even watch you like go over to the side.
I know. I like so slowly, like, huh?
Why won't Mac just give you guys normal mouse?
I know. I don't get it.
Anyways.
We can't handle it.
Yeah.
Is that the descent, that switchback right there?
Yes.
That really.
Oh, that's descending through that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So after you climb, like,
That's,
Albert's like, I think we found the black diamond when we got up there. You get all the way up to, what's 2,300 meters would be
Yano.
about.
Yano.
Yeah, Yanda, where are you, buddy? I'm about just shy of 8,000 feet. Yeah, and it was just tight. And then as soon as you got around right here, it just eased up and it was flowy, and then was one of the sweetest parts of the ride.
Beautiful along the creek right there.
I don't know what happened here, but
A little lost signal here.
yeah, as soon as you get along this creek, you just have this beautiful flowing trail that's right along this little babbling brook. And I will say, ever since the Fool's Loop ride, anytime I'm out in a wilderness area and I'm encountering water, I'm like, oh, this is so great. I'm so relaxed. There's easy access to water should you need it. We have everything we need. So it was really cool. There's quite a few hikers throughout here. People were pretty courteous. A lot of dogs.
Do you have any photos of?
You know what's funny is this was so fun and kind of
just
fast
riding.
after that tight descent that I didn't even pull the camera out. I think I did on Sunday though, because we ended up coming through this area again and doing that descent again.
That's one of the reasons I love the GoPro.
Yeah,
is because it's just so easy to
pull it out.
You know,
pull it out on the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be careful on the balls. Yep. So it actually brought us right back to where we could enter in to go back to our house, or we were able to jump in and do this central section.
That looks intense too.
It was a little flatter, actually.
Yeah, the elevation on that side did not change plus or minus
there it is. Yeah.
100 to 200 feet the whole time.
Yeah, and a lot of, so you can see a lot of that's like downhill, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that 7 to 9 section there is just went up and down a little bit, but mostly flowing.
Back farther.
Is that right in? Huh. Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay.
So you are.
Yeah, so it's all within 500 feet of elevation.
I had punctured on that section, so
that's right.
I had to kind of crawl it in the second half. Just
it wasn't resealing for you?
It did. It finally resealed, but I had lost a bit of pressure, so I just kind of took it easy on that.
They asked if you took filtration. Did you guys take stuff to filter water?
I had a water filter, but we never really needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were close enough to filling stations or able to pop back to the house to fill up at pretty much any time. When he got his puncture, I was in the lead at that point, so I'd lost track of him, and I got down to one of the trail intersections, so I waited a little while, didn't see him. It's like, I'll work my way back up, and I saw another mountain biker coming through. I was like, hey, was there a guy back there? He's like, yeah, he had a puncture. I offered him my pump, but he said no, he was good. It's like, sounds right.
That's the guy.
Like, that's my guy. Yeah. That's my guy. I was truly just relieved that it was a puncture and nothing bad had happened. But because it was not real challenging riding, but it was a lot of rock garden. There was very little dirt, and in that section was just kind of rock face that you're riding over. So it'd be really easy, especially on skinnier tires, to lose grip and wipe. But
you guys
super
been watching
fun
a lot
riding.
of British TV lately?
Puncture.
Flat in America. Right?
That's right. Good call. I don't know what we did when we came back into town here. Maybe coffee or something. But, was this the day you got your tattoo? No, that was the day before.
Oh, let's hear this story. Because I've only heard a little.
The second day.
That's true. It was the day we did the big climb.
Yeah, that day.
We did the big climb.
We had a massive, delicious breakfast.
Here, click on that.
Right there.
Up one.
5D.
5D.
Yeah.
Got it. So, yeah. The day. Big breakfast.
Sweet potatoes, eggs, oatmeal. Everything.
Just living the life. Go out, have a just gorgeous ride.
Went on a big ride.
Get back, get cleaned up a little bit. Time for a tattoo. Roll over to the tattoo shop. Time passes, hands moving on the clock. Many hours go by. Poor Albert is.
What are you doing?
I hung out for a little while to watch. She drew it right on his chest.
So the appointment started at 3.
Did you schedule this before you left, or is this on a whim?
No. I scheduled it.
Oh, okay.
There was an artist there I was a fan of and wanted to get tattooed by. So I kind of reached out to her ahead of time. So she said, meet me at the shop at 3, and I kind of gave her an idea what I wanted. And I sent a photo and sent it to her, and even gave her the dimensions, but she didn't have anything drawn up ahead of time. She's like, the best way to do these is to really just customize them and draw them on freehand on the body. So I go, all right, fine. So Mike went to the coffee shop. I went back there and she kind of freehanded some stuff on my chest. And she's like, okay, I think I have a really good idea. Let me put some stuff together. Just take a break. So Mike and I hung out, like, had a cup of coffee outside, went back in. She's like, okay, I refined my idea. But then she still went ahead and, like, drew it on my chest.
In like 3 layers, right?
Like a rough
chisel,
layer,
yeah.
like a more fine detailed layer, then another, like, more fine layer.
So it's not that paper thing they do and stick
No,
on
no.
you and pull it
No,
off?
she was
No,
like
she
drawing
was-
with like markers.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
wide
Wow.
Sharpie to narrow Sharpie to like medical grades.
Refining
permanent
it and
marker.
adjusting it. That took 2 hours,
Honestly,
and so we didn't get started. The appointment was at 3. We probably didn't. I don't think we got started tattooing until 5 at the earliest.
mm-hmm. Maybe 6. No, probably 5:30.
Somewhere between
Yeah.
5 and 6, 5:30. And Micah stuck around for a little while, kind of watched the beginning of it, and then went to the grocery store. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
get some food to have ready at the.
It became pretty clear that, and plus, like Santa Fe is a sleepy town, so by
So
9
things like,
o'clock
yeah,
everything's
shut down.
closed. So I was like, we're not gonna have anywhere to eat, and you're not gonna want to go sit somewhere
No.
after this. But yeah, I
So,
took care of that stuff.
Still, the hands are passing by. It's 7, it's 8, it's 9, and I'm still getting tattooed. Had a long ride that morning. Hadn't eaten very much that day.
Yeah, you're living on Cliff Bars and meat
So
sticks
I'm just like,
and balls.
yeah, and
Yeah.
riding the balls all day. So I'm like struggling, and finally 5 hours later, she's done with this tattoo.
A little bit after 10.
A little after
right?
10, and so I crawl on the bike and
Oh my gosh.
crawl home uphill
Yeah, and it is. It's all
the
like
dark.
Oh, 'cause, yeah, you guys are...
with my
That's
with my Night Rider headlamp that didn't work, so I had my phone like
Oh, my God.
trying to give me a little bit of light to ride home.
Oh my gosh.
And-
With the tattoo that goes from
With that
here to
tattoo,
here.
shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's requesting to see it, because Buddy wrote, let's see the
This
kitty
is a
tattoo.
visual.
Oh,
It is a
I thought-
visual medium.
Just a taste, just a
a
tiny
taste.
taste.
Yeah, the
Just-
buttons
just a
come
taste,
down,
just
buddy.
a taste.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool.
Still there. Look at that.
All right, it was permanent.
Still
Yeah.
there. So Micah was nice enough to cook dinner. Had a steak dinner waiting for me
In the meantime, as
without some
Albert's
complications of his own.
yeah, as this is, I'm looking up like, okay, let's get some good steaks and we'll have a great meal. And I'm looking at, all right, what's the best way to like make a pan fried steak? So I get the cast iron skillet, just rattling hot, and put the steak on, have the fans turned on, windows open. This thing starts smoking. I'm like, oh boy. And I'm like 30 seconds from being done on the second side. I'm trying to hold it out, trying to like fan all the smoke, set off the smoke detector. And we're in this really nice neighborhood. And it's like a Simply Safe alarm system. Thing is just blaring. I'm like, oh God. So I pull it off, get it out to the porch in the backyard, and realize there's an external alarm as well. So it's blaring through the neighborhood at close to 10 o'clock.
It's like one of those like luxury like up in the hills like
Yeah.
neighborhoods.
So I immediately, as I'm getting things like turned off, smoke cleared, get on the phone, message the host. I'm like, everything's fine. And it's a dual living space, so it's 2 homes connected.
Duplex.
It's not really a duplex, though. Yeah, I was not using that word on purpose. Yonda. Thank you. No, I'm kidding.
I
don't know. Yeah.
It's a British duplex.
It's a British yeah. It's a duple. It's French. You wouldn't understand. All right, yeah. So, like, everything's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. It's just making dinner. Set off the smoke alarm. She's like, okay, are you all right? Later, we find out that it's actually her daughter owns that house. And her daughter lives in New York, but was in Mexico at the time. And so on her phone, the alert goes off from Simply Safe saying a fire alarm went off. So she calls her mom. It's now an international incident. Is everything okay? Is the house on fire? It's fine. Actually,
Because there was fires there's like news of like fires.
Yeah.
literally fires everywhere.
She gets a fire alert.
And she gets a fire alert. She's
Oh,
like,
I
oh, shit,
Livelihood
the
is
place
burning
is.
down. Oh my God.
Yeah. Steaks were good.
Steaks
And
were
they hit the spot. It
delicious,
was fine.
delicious.
It all worked
10
out.
o'clock steaks.
Yeah.
10 o'clock
That
steaks,
did hurt a little bit later. That was just like, oof.
Couple glasses of mezcal.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a pretty good setup there.
Yeah, it's a New Mexico 10 o'clock.
Yes.
It's a dry 10
It's
o'clock.
a
It doesn't sound like it was a dry 10 o'clock, actually. Very wet
Not
10
after
o'clock.
5 hours.
Yeah.
No.
Youch. Yeah. So right, that's day 2. Brand new tattoo. Late at night. So then the next day is when we went and did the mountain bike trails. Obvious, as you do. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, you were mentioning something when we had dinner the other night about the new tattoo, like something about, was it with the, because I was
It
thinking,
was a healing one?
yeah, because I thought they now they put like that burn stuff on. I see it because for anyone who doesn't know, I'm 2 doors down from a tattoo shop, and
Yeah, they use this new stuff called like Mederma something or Derma
Yeah.
something. It's like a skin layer that they like adhere to it, so it like seals it, so you can't nothing can get in or out, so it like keeps the bacteria from getting there. She did not use that. She kind of used the old school style, like these like I think they're still medical or surgical.
It's like a big maxi pad.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, it was puffy.
and they like absorb everything. She said you could leave it on for 24 hours. So I said, I'm gonna take advantage of that. Like next morning, let's go out and ride. And I figured it would just
within 24 hours.
soak it all up.
Yeah.
So we went out and rode the next day.
We did.
They're making Home Alone references now. Micah, you're what the French call laissez compétent. And
true.
Pudgy got the reference and said, "Look what you did, you little jerk." Anyways.
Nice.
And then someone also had said when you showed your tattoo, "Oh, Pudgy, those are some fancy Sharpies."
I haven't showered since.
Sharpie cone needle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we had a really good ride that day, and then we ended up had a second ride that day that went out to dinner. Found really good dinner.
Oh yeah, that was the.
Oh, is this the tattoo?
La
day?
Loma?
Is this tattoo day here?
Tattoo day.
The hammock. The
Yeah,
backyard was awesome.
You could stare between the
That's so
pages
good.
because you know what you would be
Okay.
pulling up between the Strava routes and the videos
Got it.
and the photos.
Yeah, so I think this was tattoo day, right?
So this is the backyard of your Airbnb, I'm going to assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was really nice, covered porch, hammock, little coconut water, little mezcal. Everything worked out. Yeah, this is a little bit on the trails. So that's that
That's
creek
part
side
along
that
the
we
creek.
rode along. You can see it's a pretty
Oh,
narrow
okay.
trail and
Yeah.
rocky on the side, but it was such a peaceful, flowy ride.
Are those gooder glasses you're wearing?
Yeah.
Alright.
This is back. This is Canyon View Road or something like that.
After we pop back into the
Yeah.
city. Canyon Road.
Yeah, you can see we're up
Oh,
there.
yeah, you're way. Yeah.
Everything pretty much immediately shoots you vertically.
What are your guys between the two of you? I don't know do you have a really easy gear on the Monsoon? I know your Fargo does.
We're
Just
geared the
switched
same.
before I
Okay.
left, and I don't know what they put on. It's like a 42. Is it 42?
I think yours has a slightly bigger climbing gear on the cassette. It's an 11 speed, but it's and I only know this because I was in the shop after we got back and I saw your same cassette on another bike they were building up. I was checking it out. It might be like a 46 or something.
34 in the front? Or
No. 40 something in the front.
40 something in the front?
Yonder, you still there? What'd you put on my bike?
Yeah.
Yonda.
Yonder. I don't know. It's pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put a new crank set, new crank arms, and a new chain ring and a new cassette on it before I left.
Yeah.
Felt great. Carbon crank,
Oh, really?
crank arms, and
SRAM?
Truvative. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah. True Active or True.
Active?
Yeah. It's the same brand that's on the Fargo as well, but I have aluminum ones.
Again, I'm out of my element here.
Yeah.
It's just a like road.
It's like mountain stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
what this stuff is.
Yeah.
Like this Velo Orange one with
Right.
that tiny front ring on that mountain bike over there is like the first
Oh wow, that's
small thing I've had.
That's very tiny.
Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Hey. Hey guys. I've got actually what came on the bike, which is 38, and I think it goes maybe 11 to 44, 10 to 44, something like that. It's plenty. It's got all it needs. So this day, this must be the 4th day. We zipped around. We're doing some exploring. Just as we entered the trail, I noticed my bike it didn't sound right. The drivetrain didn't sound right. It was getting some rub on the tire, and it kind of sounded like I was in between shifts. I just couldn't clean it up. So stopped, flipped it over, and Albert reaches over and jiggled one of the sprockets on my derailleur, and it was just sloppy. The bearings were completely shot. Pulley wheel.
The pulley wheels.
The bearing was shot completely, and was just about shot on the other one too. So we Truvado, that's it. Yeah, Pudgy, you got it.
Yeah.
So we turned around, dropped back into town, went to Mellow Velo bike shop.
They call it Mellow.
We went to one with almost the same name in Syracuse. Yeah.
Oh. And they were able to set me up.
They
Yeah,
went the first.
cheaters.
Yeah.
So we were able to swap that out real fast and rode back up. And we rode a little bit, maybe a mile or so on the trail. And Albert just wasn't feeling it. Just head wasn't in it.
One of those days you get on a mountain bike trail and like you're just not connected to like what you need to do,
Yeah.
and you do it like a half second too late, and you're just like, those are the mistakes that like hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the mountains.
Yeah.
Like, it's not on Hampton.
Yeah, I mean, I do dumb enough stuff
Yeah.
like when I am feeling fine.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
just like, I would do two stupid things and just like swear at myself and realize that it's not the place I needed to be. So
Stu always said that you know Stu, right? He doesn't like mountain biking because he's like, I have to pay way too much attention.
it's
Right.
yeah,
And I go when I'm in the mood. Like I go to Hampton when that's what I feel like doing.
Right.
You know, like I don't.
and I think it's the same thing that I felt on the the last day of the Fool's Loop, which was the second day of the Black Canyon Trail. It was so technical. The first day I had a blast, and the second day my mind was just so exhausted from like just thinking about it all
constant.
that I couldn't connect the bike to the trail, and I had such a miserable time that day. And I think that's why on this day the same thing. I was just like so mentally just zoned out that I couldn't keep it on the trail. So I went and did some city riding while Micah did the rest of the trail.
So that's what you did over here.
Yeah. So yeah, this is mine. Unfortunately, Albert's didn't sync with his phone, so he lost his route that day because he had like zigged through all the neighborhoods and did a lot of exploring that day.
I get that though, like, 'cause some people are like, "Oh, you ride like just boring stuff all the time," but sometimes I'm just riding to ride, and I enjoy that. Like other times, I want to be challenged, and
Right.
Yeah,
it was nice seeing the city, and I found this one road that kind of like curved along the whole like outside of the city, kind of overlooking it. It was beautiful.
So yeah, this is the southern part of the Dale Ball Trails, and it connects with
it's Dale Ball.
Dale Ball. Yep, Dale Ball Trails.
Dale Ball. It just there's so many connotations. I feel. Like
Oh man, I know. Even Dale sounds dirty.
Yeah.
When connected with that. But it connects with the Dorothy Stewart Trail system, which ends up going down into this area more. And I did a little bit of that. This leads you up to Atalaya Peak, and it was one of those moments. I hate when this happens. It was right after Albert and I were just like going our separate ways. Crossed the road to get back on the trail, and this guy is hiking back down. I don't know if you ended up hearing any
I
of our
heard a little bit of
conversation.
the conversation. Said something about
He's
steep,
like,
getting
"Oh,
steep.
where are you going with that thing?" I'm like, I'm just going to try to ride this trail. You're not going to Atalaya Peak, are you? It's like, well, I think I'm going to try. You're not going with that. I mean, maybe you can, but it's
Maybe.
pretty steep. I'm just like, dude, why? Why do we have to do this? Like, just let me go have some
You
fun.
go have your hike. Let me go and do my
Yeah. If I have to hike it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But
You're not
it was
gonna
one of
make it in
those.
those shoes.
Exactly. Yeah, like come on, man. And it was very steep. He wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't need to hear it. You know, like I'm not here assuming it's not. But the couple that Albert and I had crossed paths with right before we split ways, I caught back up with a little bit up the trail, and we chatted. They had just moved to Santa Fe. He had lived in Boston for a long time, so they drive back and forth a couple of times a year. And when they do, he's like, oh, we stop in Ohio to mountain bike as kind of our midway point, little breakup, to get out of the car and go ride a little bit. I was like, cool, where do you guys ride? He's like, it's called Vulture's Knob, I think. So there we are in the middle of nowhere in Santa Fe. And this dude's hanging out in Worcester, riding his bike. Like, yeah, cool. You hit the dump to go ride.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a little nicer. You don't see garbage like coming up through the dirt here in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
But
Wow, I love when that happens.
it's the best.
Yeah.
And they had a dog with them. I think there's nothing cooler than people that do mountain biking that have their dogs with them, and the dog just kind of scampers along. It was so cool. So I got to maybe 400 feet below Atalaya Peak, and that was far enough. It was from there, it would have been completely carrying the bike up. But it was fun, and it was very similar trail conditions to what we had experienced before. And we ended up, I think maybe, oh no, that's right. We cut this part off of our Sunday ride. Would have included some of that.
Yep.
I had that happen to me where, like, when I was in Tallahassee and I rented the bike, I went out on a long ride. I was trying to get to the coast, wanted to see this lighthouse, and I fought like 20 miles of headwind. And then I was on my way back, and I found their mountain bike trails, which were all flat. It's Florida.
Right.
I mean, there was a little bit. And I rode them for a while, and I was having fun. And I'm like, oh, there's like 5 more miles of this. I was like, I wish I would have seen this at the beginning of the
Yeah.
ride,
Of course.
not the end.
Yeah.
And it was like such that bummer where I'm like, I need to eat. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah, you don't want to.
I have a deadline on getting this bike back. You know, like, yeah.
That's kind of how it was when we went down to Galisteo Basin. It was a long ride to get there. There was tons of stuff to explore. We explored like a postage stamp worth, but we knew we had to get back too, and didn't want to be in the dark. And so there's always more to explore. You know,
Yeah,
it's good.
That's a good thing is I enjoy the gravel riding and riding anywhere I haven't been before. So it's like I'm never that bummed if I like can't get
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a good
explore
ride.
everything when you're in a new
But
place.
there could have been more.
Yeah, you're always looking at that next little piece of map where
Exactly.
you're like,
I know. Yeah, could go down there, and it all looks so accessible on the map.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so like this is just the southern section, and our house would have been like up in this area. So we were in our house is in such a cool spot because it was just right in everything we wanted to be amongst.
Rusty's right. I was looking at his comment about the southern part of the Black Canyon. That's like the day 2 of the Black Canyon that I was just talking about, that I just could not connect with it. So much more technical and challenging.
Sorry for the Darth Vader breathing.
Are you using a mouth mount?
Yeah.
Best thing about GoPro.
There was one here where I come up on a dude that's with his dogs. I think it's this one. Is there a way does this work on a PC?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if PCs had volume control or not.
Yeah, all the regular things
That's
work. They just have more.
Oh, I see. And they're customizable?
Yeah.
Weird.
They just don't like stick with whatever Steve Jobs dictated on his website.
His corpse, his frozen head is still dictating.
Sweet descent.
Yeah, this is down from that Atalaya Peak.
Oh, so there is some like, yeah, it's a little bit. You're not just gonna send that on like on my Raleigh. I wouldn't just be like, definitely rocky.
Yeah, there's some like fun rocky stuff to navigate through. Your Raleigh would have been able to handle it in the drops.
In the drops.
But this like, so I'm up in the middle of nowhere, and it's gonna come up on these 2 old golden retrievers and a guy who's probably in his early 70s. They were just out enjoying the day. I just love seeing that.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, right? Down the hatch.
Oh,
Sweet
yeah.
old puppies. So this one, I don't think we talked about this route that I sent us in the wrong direction for about a mile and
talking
a half.
about how Wahoo just like, easily you just type in where you want to go and it just directs you where you should
What's
go.
weird about Wahoo is when you type in the number for your street address, there are other streets, other street names with the same number.
Oh.
It was a discovery for me. I didn't know that. And so as we approached Agua Fria, it's like, I'm like, Albert, you like to ride bikes, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool, because we're about 2 miles in the wrong direction. So we got to go that way.
This was like at what, 10, 11 at night?
Oh, really?
After dinner and drinks and everything, we're just trying to get home.
Oh, this is the ride home from dinner.
Just getting home from dinner.
So where does this start?
We started actually dinner here.
That was dinner. Rode all the way out to the
ride home.
But no, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
We rode out to here to get drinks.
All right.
At the El Rayo court. Then we rode completely in the wrong direction and then came back this way. And then we got back. So it all worked out.
It felt really long.
We're here. We're here, right?
Really
What's
up, party size? We're in New Mexico tonight.
We had some things to work out on this ride anyways. Some questions that had been raised while we were at the motel bar.
So this is a motel bar.
Yeah.
Where we got picked up.
Yeah, we did get picked up.
Oh, I've heard a little bit of this story. I don't know how much you feel comfortable telling on.
Andrew gave us some good advice about what to see.
He did. I think he was actually the one looking to get out of the conversation as soon as possible once we'd clarified our status.
He hung in there for a while. I don't know, man.
Why don't you give the
It was
the breakdown of.
I really wish Greg Milo would have been with us because it was a very Greg Milo conversation of
just the progression.
The questions he asked had truth to them where we could say yes or no.
Yeah.
But they became more confusing. So
Pudgy says nothing bad ever happens in a motel. By the way, did you guys choose this so you had dinner?
Yes.
But then we found out that this place had like the best mezcal selection in town. It's kind of like you walked in there, it would have been New York City, like all the hipsters.
Yeah.
That's like, this is the hipster place of Santa Fe.
It was a really sweet looking place inside, super minimal.
Like all we had seen prior to that were like geriatric retired
yeah.
people, and this was like actually people like maybe in their 30s and 40s.
Prowling, cruising, as we come to find out. Yeah. So, two nicely dressed gentlemen sitting on a couch, sharing shots of Sotal and Mezcal. And
are you ordering these as like flights, or you're just?
They were just in little
just
glasses,
little
but we
glasses.
just each had one.
So it was like the couch against the wall, so we kind of had to like sit talking to each other.
A
Like,
little bit of cross-legged.
Yeah.
Why don't you try
Like
this one?
this,
Oh, yeah, this one's good. That's really good. So you get the picture.
we could feel the eyes.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Across the room, there were 6 eyes on us.
And at some point, you'd gone up to get more drinks, and you came back, and you were like, "Yep, yeah, he's interested in me." We had a good conversation at the bar. There's a lot of looks coming our way. So sure enough, the guys across the way leave, but Andrew, Silver Fox,
Kind of gives them the like, I'm gonna stick around and see
Yeah.
what. See, kind of see you guys. Thanks. I'm gonna stick around.
Andrew gets a fresh drink, comes over, sits on the remaining portion of the couch, and
I didn't know this was on a couch.
It's not the 3 of us around the couch.
I've heard this story like through Albert's wife retelling it a little bit with like, well, I know how Albert gets. He gets real friendly. And I'm picturing at the end of the bar. Like, I don't know, you guys are all sitting on a couch.
we're on a couch.
Nah, he comes over. He's like, mind if I sit here? Yeah, no problem. I have a seat.
Yeah.
How long you two been married? And like we just like are flustered, like, oh, we're not married, but like we both have our hands in the air.
Yeah. And you can see like the gleam of light reflecting off the rings.
Yeah.
We're not married?
Oh no, we're not married to each other.
Yeah.
So how long have you been together?
Which is such a great follow-up
I
question.
know, it is.
Like, man.
He's like, you're definitely gay.
Yeah. And you're
So-
together.
Oh no, we're married, just not to each other. He's like, oh, you're married to women. So how do you guys let your wives let you get away like this?
Yeah. how do you have wives that let you get away like this? And he was like, I was married to a woman once too.
How do you get away?
Still just not believing.
Still not seeking it.
Just
Totally
believing
not
that
getting it.
For 1 second.
And I'm like, just thinking, well, because our wives know that the only people that are going to try to pick us up are middle-aged men.
Yeah.
You know? So things are going to work out fine. But yeah, so he did. He hung out for a while and gave us a lot of good advice about a lot of chapels to check out.
Yeah, it was
Very chapel-centric.
Yeah.
A healing chapel where the dirt, I think, heals you. We didn't take him up on any of that.
No.
But yeah, at some point, I think we legitimately were ready to go. We're just like, well, I think we're going to pack up. We got to ride back home. Oh, I get it. All right. Oh, yeah, I'll leave you alone now. We're like, no, it's fine, man. We have to go. Somehow we were like inviting the conversation back in. But Andrew, we miss you. It was nice to meet you. If you're following Tim's stream. I do have video of Andrew. Somehow
it's phrases like that that get you in trouble.
I know. We'll meet you at the balls.
I like well, Kim said this couch is news to everybody, and then Pudgy said this couch is about to be a love seat. It's the little hats.
Maybe we were talking loudly about our fun on the mountain bike trails, and he overheard us.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah, I'm just dancing just bouncing on the balls.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I feel like there's a Seinfeld episode where it's like, not that there's anything,
Right.
no problem. Like,
He was a handsome dude. I was flattered that he wanted to pay attention. But I had happened to like do a little Instagram story video of the bar while you were getting drinks.
Yeah,
and it happened
I
to
heard
be when
there's
you
documentation of me flirting with the guy at the bar before.
Yeah. Laying the seeds.
So you guys kind of did. You weren't totally innocent. You led him down the wrong path a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't say we.
I
wouldn't say we.
I was excited to be
And this guy.
You should have seen the mezcal selection.
The glimmer in your eye was just misunderstood.
I was probably walking around with a heart on. There was like 12.
I was probably walking around with a heart.
I mean, the selection was like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah. For anyone who's new around, who hasn't seen it, Albert is a big mezcal fan. So
I think they pieced it together.
Yeah, and pieced it together. Which I did some math.
Oh.
Go on.
There was still a little blood in your head?
No, I was thinking the ratio, the success that we had in this trip.
Yeah, we're screwed, man.
A much higher tequila to success ratio.
Ah.
When we packed our bikes and only carried a little bit of tequila,
Oof. Shit went wrong.
We were rationing it, and it went wrong.
Yeah.
This, we had plentiful. Things were fine. So I think in the future,
that is really
a more
good.
Plentiful supply of tequila and mezcal is
That's good science.
the key to success.
You're right. Now, I will say that on the Blue Ridge Wrangler, your flask held 2/3 of a bottle of mezcal. It was a significant flask, and my flask held the rest of it.
Yeah.
So by rationing mezcal, we were saying we were rationing one full bottle of mezcal for a bike ride.
I've erased that entire trip from my memory.
Yeah, good call. Fair enough.
Thinking more
You were going back to the full
yeah,
sleep. Yeah, fair enough.
My Wahoo's still there. The trip never happened. Which, follow up to that, I got a email from Wahoo saying they found my Wahoo.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Some guy was on the trail and found it and contacted Wahoo, gave him the serial number, and they were able to trace it to my Wahoo account. So they emailed me and said, "Hey, did you lose your Wahoo in Virginia?"
Amazing.
So,
are they sending it back?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's incredible.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean,
but also follow up, they are not sending back Chrissy's Ortlieb
no,
panniers.
while you're out there,
They remain.
yeah. Hey, can you maybe walk?
go back there and grab.
What we really need are my wife's luggage
Once
back.
you get it back and then you load that route into Strava, you could be like, oh, but by the way, about 4 miles
Exactly
up a
where
rocky
these
cliff
are.
from there.
Yeah, they're hanging very nicely on a branch.
There's 2 Bobo bars and my wife. You can keep the bars. Let me take it back.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have plenty of libation
Plenty,
on this one,
plenty.
and things went fine.
Yep.
So that probably also led to the 2 miles in the exact. As you can,
We were pretty
wait.
flustered
The
at that
exact
point.
Yeah, so you
Correct.
pull
Yeah.
the map up there. So because this
Pretty
is 2
flustered.
miles in the, or however far. In
Which
the,
one's this? The web?
Web, yeah. In the exact wrong direction.
Complete wrong.
Yeah.
Like completely away from.
I typed in 976, which is our house address, as I've stated.
Yeah.
I
On
chose the
record?
first option.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, if the court reporter will rewind and read what I've said. I chose the wrong street, but the right number. And the Wahoo led us very cleanly towards that number.
Yeah.
And not really the best of neighborhoods. It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely like not Santa Fe. And
Looks like it might have been downhill on that section. Too, and then
all right, rub it
back
in.
up.
Climb all the way back, go down to that profile. So is that like? Oh yeah, you got.
I gotta go up here.
Is that the like at 10 Mile up?
How do I get up there, Tim?
Yeah.
Wait, how do I get up there?
It
Oh, there
just
we go.
passes through.
Yeah, so we get to the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal!
Not quite low enough yet.
Brutal!
Oh my god.
All the way back up. So we got all the way down to 6,400 feet and had to climb it out to over
1,000
7.
feet on the way home.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
at the end of a day after getting a big tattoo, no big
No
deal.
wonder I felt like crap.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Why
next
wasn't
day.
your head in the game the
Why
next
my-
day?
Foggy the next
We just fucking quoted you as saying we just spent all day riding the ball.
Oh my goodness. I do love that there's a segment on this just called Dumb. I'm sure I thought that at the same time.
was that Saturday?
That was Saturday that we went to the
So
bar.
Sunday's the day we were like really gearing up to have a
Yeah.
big day. There was 2 nights.
So you figured you might as well do it hungover.
Do it hungover, go out late. I don't think that actually is how it happened. I think
No,
we
no,
went
no.
out to the bar the night
That
before.
was Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday was the day I had to ride the city because
That's
I was
right.
too
Okay.
hungover.
Yeah.
Sunday was the day like, all right, we're going back on Monday. Let's blow
Empty
it all
the
on,
tank.
empty the tank on Sunday. We did have plans to go to Towson back, which would have been a huge ride, but with the wind,
like 150 miles.
like it would have been 150 miles, and like we knew the winds like that whole week hadn't been that great, so we decided to go over the 12,000
yeah.
foot peak.
And when Mike had posted a couple Instagram stories, and I was like, "This is the content I've been waiting for."
Yeah.
Everything just looked like it's all made sense, and
Everything's
now here we
smooth,
go.
so
And now it escalates.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Taos ride would have been fun, but I really don't even know what we would have encountered. And I have a feeling we would have ended up on some pretty major roads on the way home, just trying to like dead leg it. And
Yeah, it was some.
That's
yeah,
not
it
the
wasn't. as-
fun.
Yeah, the routes there would have included some highway, and it would have been huge. So,
yeah,
so we found a route on. What is it called?
I think it was bike pack on Radivist.
Radivus.
Yeah. It was on the Radivist, yeah.
Went over this 12,000 foot peak,
Wow.
which
I didn't
circling
realize
back
it
to the second day. Part of this ride was like on the similar trail.
Yeah, like this portion of it here was similar. Actually, all the way up to probably here is similar to what we did on day
It wasn't
one.
the same because we came in through a different angle, but it met
Yeah.
at the same kind of point.
Right, because this time we actually went up through the neighborhood. Then we went here. Let's make it bigger. We actually ended up cutting down to here.
Right,
And then riding it
hiking
up.
up that way. Whereas the other day we went to Tsuke
Yeah.
and came in the other direction. So the same peak, but from a different direction.
So you can see up here, this is the ski mountains. So these are all the lift lines.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
So it's really cool. Yeah, we basically were almost at the highest lift line.
So we climbed in. So we did the route. We decided to cut off the route that was on Radivus. Like included 20 miles of like mountain biking in the south area before you even start doing the climb.
Yeah.
So we decided just to like, we're not sure how long this is going to take. Let's just cut that out and go directly to the climb. And so that's kind of what we we're doing there. But once we got up to, once we passed like 10, there was a little bit of snow that we had to go around, but we could go around. Once we got to 11, it was covered.
Just snow.
It was just snow. So we were hiking on the snow.
It was intense because this first portion was all just mountain bike trails.
So that's not even just a...
Yeah, it wasn't like the dirt, like gravel open road. It was like,
Yeah.
it was just...
This is all, sorry
real
to say it
deep-
again,
deep-
Dale Ball. Yeah.
balls. But that was like real deep wood, like mountain bike trail.
Including that technical switchback down
Oh yeah,
right
we
along
redid
the
the
river.
technical part.
Up. So yeah,
Back up.
man, but this portion in here was so cool. We were in like this deep, almost Pacific Northwest woods. A lot of pine needles, very, almost like, it wasn't rainforest, but it felt that way. Very like heavy forest, piney forest that we were in. And wide. I guess that was mainly what I noticed was we were in these wide portions where you weren't surrounded by rock walls. We were in between some peaks. And so rode all the way through there, and then we ended up hitting more of like a fire road, which was what this is. So this whole thing up here is all single track, basically.
Wow.
And then that brings you up to this fire road. FS 150, I think is what the trail was. And that's where we started encountering a lot of snow in that area.
And it was about that point we looked at the map, and I kind of followed the fire road on the GPS, and saw it was just a one single road, meaning there was no like descent. Because we had planned on going up and then riding back down. I was like, Mike, there's no road on the other side of this descent, or like once we get to the peak, there's no road to ride back down. Like we thought there was.
Yeah.
Like there's a ski lift over here with a road that goes down. But once we get to the top, we're stuck on top of this ski.
We're on a ski
resort.
mountain. Yeah.
You have some pictures of this, don't
So
you?
we
I do,
peeked out.
yeah.
I think we peeked out right at that corner there,
Right here. Yeah.
and we can kind of see the the ski resort and the lifts down below. But yeah, that's at 12,000 feet right there.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll bring up the photo, but you can just see all of Santa Fe and the valley laying below you, which was so beautiful, but it's so intimidating to be like, we have to come down from this.
And we just hiked 2 miles on the snow. We didn't ride our bikes.
Yeah.
We just hiked. We've been
of hiking.
Yeah. With very intermittent riding where it was a little bit of a gravel path, and you'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And then just got tired of hiking the bike, so you'd get to these gravel little portions, and then you'd come to snow. But if you like just ramped it up real hard, you could blast through the snow and have just enough momentum to get to the next. But you're on a 8% grade at 11,000 feet.
God.
It took so much energy, by the time you blew through that, you'd just be like,
Yeah, I did.
all right,
I think
fine, we'll just hike it.
we did about half a dozen of those. And I'm like, I got no turbo. Like, it's gone, man. To the point that here, we're coming around, and I looked at the Wahoo map, and this was all just snow. We were going to have to hike. And this was like a vertical climb.
Oh, yeah, it's like,
I'm like,
if you're gonna go up the mountain, if
hell
we're gonna
with
hike up
this.
the mountain, we might as well just hike up the
Oh,
mountain.
yeah. I'd like to go
like,
around the...
I see the trail up here. Let's go through the trees.
So that
Let's
was
get there.
straight
That
up.
cut off a quarter of a mile, which was nice. Yeah.
It was nice.
On this whole map, that's so ridiculous, but I know what you mean. Like,
I
when you get...
know. You're starting to really negotiate at that point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what do we do to make this happen? So yeah, we'll see if we have some.
Asparagus just jumped in. Michael Maris.
Oh, nice. What's up, Mikey? Let's get over to jump through some of these. So yeah, this is the
We're
snow.
starting to get to that.
This stuff was up to your hip deep. Like, it was hard pack, and you would push through. You could stand on top of it, but
It'd be
if
like
you punched
Furman had
through,
that crust on the top,
Yeah.
but then like you'd fall through it, and it would be like
straight up to your
knees
knee.
to hip deep.
Yeah, it was funny, and I pretty much kept my sense of humor the whole time, because it was like, we got plenty of time. I felt comfortable with like food and water resources. Temperature was fine, but exhausted, just
Yeah.
completely gassed. Yeah, and it was
Oh,
so.
yeah, ski area.
Close danger. And you're just right
Yeah,
past
right
it,
back through it.
past it.
Yeah. So yeah, one of our options was, do we ride down the power lines? And this led down to the ski lodge. This is pretty vertical descent and ungroomed, of course, because it's not a trail. Or
up this glacier.
Or this glacier. Let's see. Yeah, some more of that. Albert inspecting.
Oh, that looked like a cross-country skier.
Right.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, so this is Albert on top of the ski mountain looking over. And that's what he's looking at. So yeah, you're just looking down on the whole valley, just amazing. While we were looking at all of this, it's hard to see here. Can I zoom in on this?
Yeah, if you click, I think it does.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
Yeah, those two dudes had just alpine skied up the mountain. So they could then turn around and ski down the mountain because the lifts were shut down.
Skied all the way up.
And this is one of those examples of these two dudes just stopped.
They just kind of looked over and, hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Looks like you found some snow. I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, only way to find out, you got to ride up here and see if it's there. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Well, that answers Rick's question of saying, was this snow expected?
No, it wasn't. It was not.
No socks, like a triathlete.
Yep. He paid the ultimate price on that. Yeah, so, yeah, of course, Albert's like, well, I think we're going to have to ride these bikes down this hill. I was like, whew, man, I don't know if my butt can get far enough behind my saddle to feel comfortable on this. I don't know where Dale's balls have to go to get this to happen. But it was really fun. Once you got going.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I saw you guys had an Instagram story. Did you have any videos?
Do you have the
of
videos?
We
of
got
this
some
now?
video of it, yeah.
Yeah, it took a few times to kind of really figure out how to negotiate ski biking.
I won't play it, but you'll have to play this at some point for yourself, Tim. This guy rides by and he's like, does he have his GoPro in his mouth? But I think maybe, yeah. Oh, this is hilarious. So we've just ridden up to 11,000 feet, hiked the bikes a ton, exhausted, beautiful though. So Albert decides he'll ride his
Some hikers
bike.
had just come out from over there, and they were like, "Oh, is that an overlook?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's really pretty." So I wanted to go check it out.
So I mean, this is just like a boulder-strewn mess of a landscape. And he rides all the way out to the overlook, comes back, and he's like, why the hell did I do that? I don't know why I did that.
We could see it all from here.
Yeah, is that an overlook? Is it pretty over there?
Yeah. He's like, it's
Well,
pretty much the
it's
same as
the
this.
same here. I was excited just to get paddling.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right. This is Albert starting to go down. I think maybe this is me.
It's so steep. Like,
Oh my god.
like they always say on like the bike races and stuff, you can't tell like how steep things are like when you're watching it on film. I mean, this is a ski hill, like a 12,000 foot, pretty serious ski hill. So this is like.
So at this point, I had popped off the ski hill, and now I am on the power lines road.
Is that where I went over?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Right. I definitely went over the bars right there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did OTB it. And this was like
Right
full
there's
squeeze
where
on the brakes, just kind of skiing the bike.
Trying to slow it.
At one point, my front brake caliper completely froze over. Just absolutely trying to hold on. I'm just really trying to hold on.
Oh, then it just gets deeper.
Yeah, this is, I think, my double wipeout. Albert got some video of this, of me coming the other direction. And I think it's maybe the next one. But it shows a little more of the incline. Yeah, this is the one that you captured coming
From
the other direction. Yeah.
Kind of in the home stretch at this point.
Yeah, we're real low on the hill.
We kind of had figured it out. It's a little shallower here.
But I mean,
Not
no
to say any easier, but
snow groomer had come through. Back on the horse.
Yeah. That was a pretty smooth.
Decent dismount. It'll happen again here in a second.
I kind of figured out at this point the best approach was to keep your right foot on the left pedal. No. Left foot, left pedal like you'd normally be riding, but keep your right foot completely behind you for balance. So you'd have the bars to your right and your right foot like kind of hanging out to the other side to kind of counterweight it. And between those two, you can kind of like just keep the whole thing. And you could step down if you needed. So if I ever go out there again, I think I got.
You got it. Yeah, you got to
kind of
figure it out.
side saddle.
Oh yeah, you're completely off the saddle. But if you could hop, I did hop over a couple times when like it got smooth and just rode down and then hop back off.
That you workshopped that move.
Yeah.
On the ridgeline at
Oh yeah, that's right.
the Wrangler.
That's right.
You got so mad at not being able to ride. You're like, hell with this. I'm just riding on one pedal. And I'm keeping the other leg off.
Wow.
Yeah. Not recommended necessarily for the new riders.
That looks fun. What is it? What does Pudgy say?
Oh, that looked definitely fun. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, what's up, Alejandro? Alejandro bounces mostly between Spain and Florida. So.
Oh, cool. Oh man, all out of hooch.
And done.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
I have to find my one moment of glory. Just.
So this was the descent where I passed two pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was getting so frustrated with them because like there were just these couple turns that would have been so fun, and they just
we're going slow.
were going slow. So finally, I found a good spot
I
and
don't think this is the one I'm looking for though.
passed right by 'em.
I don't know if I actually gave you this one, but yeah.
I think you.
I don't think I put it in the folder.
Somehow Chrissy got it.
Yeah, well, I texted
Somehow
that to
Chrissy
her.
got
I needed to make sure she saw it. I knew that you had Andrew to go home to, so if Chrissy wouldn't let you come back because I'd passed you on a descent,
Andrew.
that Andrew would accept you. But yeah, it was fun to just bomb it down so we ended up cutting off the backside of this ride too. So we were supposed to come down from the ski mountain and then get back on mountain bike trails for, I don't know, another 15 or 20 miles.
I got the rest of the descent.
And I knew I didn't have anything left. I certainly wasn't going to be able to focus, and I wasn't sure about my physical ability at that point. And these guys had just come off the mountain bike trails, and they're really excited for us to get out there and enjoy it. Yeah, do this, do that. And they're like, wait, where'd you guys just come from? We were like, well, we were just on top of we just climbed up to the ski mountain and rode down. They're like, oh, man. Go home, man. All right. Yeah. Like, all right, fine. Good call.
So was the route supposed to take in the ski resort?
Yeah. Yeah, we were.
It would have been fun.
Did the exact route.
If it wasn't snowy.
Right.
June, July, it would have been fun.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
But, yeah.
So basically, over the first 19 miles, you did all your elevation. And then the backside of it was mostly downhill. So, I think I took a photo of my GPS at some point, and it was like 18 and a half miles and just shy of 6,000 feet of climbing. It's like, all right, I'm not sure I'll have a chance to do that again anytime soon. I thought about that a couple of times on Black Fork on Saturday, just like when I was really hurting. It's like, dude, you packed all this in a much shorter distance. Just
Yeah.
relax. It's fine. You'll be fine. And I was hoping that a lot of this riding would physically pay off for that ride.
Yeah.
But I think actually my body was just depleted because my whole left side cramped up.
Yeah.
Got like a really high cramp in my upper glute on the one side. And yeah, it was weird. Bike might be a little out of adjustment.
How long did you, because you guys got back on
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
And did you do a ride on Monday?
Just riding
Just
to the
to the-
train station.
Oh,
and the
getting
hotel.
back.
Yeah.
Just to get back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a blast. I would definitely check that place out again.
The riding out there is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not crowded at all.
No.
It's so easily accessible. There's so much of it to do. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this time of year at least, I'm
Beautiful
sure
riding.
the trails must get a little busier later in the season, but we probably saw half a dozen bicyclists on the trail. That was it,
Mhm.
over the whole trip.
Yeah.
It was great.
How about Santa Fe itself? So the guy I bought the studio from, he went to a whatever you call it, like a retreat photography lesson. What's the right word for that?
Like a residency, a workshop.
Yeah. Out in Santa Fe, and he was like in love with Santa Fe, like absolutely. He's told me about it probably on 5 different occasions at least. Just okay.
It's different. I mean, there's like definitely the downtown historic part is like a tourist.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a tourist trap because it is a cool downtown.
Right.
So it's not like it's not like Disney World where they're like some like fake
Yeah.
BS to sell people, but it is just all tourists that are in the downtown or old retired people. So it's like a very strange, it's not like going to New York City or some like functioning city where like there's people going to work. People doing the daily grind going to work. There are people working there, but it's like a lot of retired people, and it's like a real laid back
shop kind of.
Yeah, so it's a laid back type
Yeah.
of feel. So you don't see the younger people or it doesn't have that whole demographic of like different economic brackets and age demographics.
So it's not like if you lived there, you wouldn't be going to hang out there. Like you would be either riding.
You'd probably be going to where we went to the bar.
Down by like where the motel was. That's probably like where like more of the
little grittier.
The locals hang out.
Yeah.
So now they're getting away from the city they might have used to.
I don't know. You know what's weird is it's a small town. It's like 80,000 people. I don't think it's ever been. I just don't think it's ever been a real hotbed place for youth culture.
No, yeah, I don't think they're getting
Albuquerque,
away from
I think, is more
Yeah.
of like an Akron type or
Yeah,
Akron,
if anything, the
Cleveland
city's
type place.
spreading out and it's more developing on the outskirts
Yeah.
to where it might have just been like just the central city center. It's probably more developing, like growing outwards with like a more day-to-day economy.
Yeah.
Kind of like more like Europe.
Yeah.
Centers are all
The
like the
shopping district.
Yeah,
like-
then people actually live now in the suburbs and stuff like that. I'm like that.
Yeah, and it's, Santa Fe is a very arts-rich town, but again, I think the art's probably a lot cooler outside of the city. Because it was very much like, okay, I just bought $1.5 million home. I need to fill it. I need to put things on my walls. I want to put things on my walls from Santa Fe, or I'm going back home. I want to remember our trip to Santa Fe and buy a really cool
So it's a bunch of
painting.
So it'd be like if we were had like 10 down drums.
Yes, exactly.
Very much.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
that's
know that would offend a lot of Akronites.
right, and it's so hard not to sound offensive with that. It serves a purpose, and I'm so glad people are buying that instead of some terrible reproduction somewhere or or some human trafficked person that's making, native art on the side of the road. Like, okay, it's a better infrastructure there, but it's not anything that you would get excited about seeing and challenged by. There are a lot of museums. We didn't go to any of the museums, but like Georgia O'Keeffe Museum's there, and there's a really cool folk art museum.
Yeah.
So there are cool things to do there, but I think probably from our short time in Albuquerque, that seemed like a place that had some grit and probably edgy things going on. And it'd be kind of cool to be able to like travel between Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Taos, and like almost like a funnel, small, mid-size, small, smaller, tiny, and be able to jockey between those. They're all about 70 miles between each other, so you could do it pretty easily too, which would be neat.
So Albuquerque, you could live in kind of a real city and then jump on the train and go spend your weekend riding. And if you wanted to stop at a museum or,
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't more than a little over an hour.
Yeah. Train ride was fast. It was so easy.
Hour and a half. So yeah, you can get on the train, go ride, and be back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sweet. And drivers were really friendly. People were super courteous of us on the road, and accommodating. There's no friction, really. It was very pricey. I would say the meals and the coffee.
The $9 pour over.
Yeah,
it was a $9 pour.
Told Micah I can move there and do 3 pour overs at a time for $7 a piece and just make a killing. Chrissy told us to go to this one shop. She goes, yeah, we went, because she'd visited over the summer last year.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, go to this one shop. This is where we went. And it kind of reminded me of your place. So Micah and I went there and we ordered 2 pour overs, and then kind of got our seats on the patio. And I went in to go check on them. And I saw her grind it and start pouring. But when you're doing a pour over, you can tell she's just like pouring one general vertical plane. Like, she's only doing 1 pour over, isn't she?
She wasn't working on 2 at a time.
Not 2 at a time. So I'm like, she's gonna finish that one and then start the second one. So I texted Chrissy. He's like, yeah, typical third wave bullshit. Like, expensive and it's going to take forever to get this coffee. And she writes back, yeah, I told you it reminded me of your place.
Ouch.
But yeah, the one place Micah went got like a $9. The pour-over was $9.
God, that is expensive. Yeah.
And it was this place called Iconic that I guess is like the coffee shop of Santa Fe. It's the one that everybody has mentioned to us, but the place we went to that Chrissy had mentioned,
35 North.
35 North was I thought the coffee was better.
It was cool. Yeah, it was like a real just
much more affordable,
down to earth, like cool place. They just need to figure out how to do more than 1 pour.
Yeah. Now to contrast that, the place we went to in Albuquerque, Zendo.
That place was awesome.
That place ruled. It really reminded me of Albert's shop.
Zendo or Zendo Coffee.
The atmosphere inside was really sweet, and just the whole energy of it really reminded me of ACR.
Flow coming in.
Yeah.
The baker from down the street would just like walk in. Both times we were there, the baker like was walking in with just trays full of baked goods from his shop that was down the street.
Yeah.
The music
was great.
No, the artist.
Oh, that's right.
Whoever was playing in town that day had walked into the shop to get coffee, and all the kind of baristas recognized them as they were from New York City. They were some Brooklyn Widow Peak.
Widow Peak.
I don't know if you know Widow. I don't know. Anyway, but it just seemed like that was everybody knew that was the cool place to go. Had a good energy. Yeah,
and their prices were actually
prices are reasonable.
Very fair.
Very
yeah.
Good, so. Zendo, thank you.
The place was sweet. Really tasty.
And a block away from the train station.
Yeah. And a really good red cappuccino.
Mm-hmm.
That rooibos cappuccino. Or latte. Yeah.
I didn't know anything when I was in Albuquerque. I think I got Mexican food, and it was delicious.
Hard not to, probably.
Yeah. Probably got a Corona.
I mean, as we are drinking the right Mexican style lager.
Cerveza, yeah.
Right, sorry. Yeah, it was a great trip.
So would you go back?
I would definitely go back. I think it'd be really fun to do to see if you could plot a bike packing route from Albuquerque to Santa Fe to Taos and make your way
once
back.
you're in those mountains and those forests up there, I mean it's beautiful up there. So if you can tie in a 3 to 4 day route up and in there, it would be, I think that'd be ideal.
Yeah, with the right bike packing setup.
Right.
Because this doesn't also sound like on the Fool's Loop where you actually had to worry as much either about your. Because weren't you guys talking about how the trails on the Fool's Loop were like
On
tight?
the Black Canyon portion.
Yeah, on the way back home, they were a lot more technical, very narrow, and nothing we rode was that.
Trees were tight.
I think I did mention 3 or 4 times, like, glad we're not loaded. Fully
Yeah,
loaded.
you're right.
And now you're talking about going back loaded.
Right, you're right. No, you're
It
right.
was nice not to be loaded.
It was
Yeah.
very
It's
nice
always
It probably
to
could've
do all
been.
that
It probably
climbing
could've
without
been.
it. Yeah.
Even road riding, I had that. Like, even when you picked up Aaron from
Oh, yeah.
Dundee and Amish
Right.
country after all that climbing, and we're like,
Unload-
we're
take it,
going
yeah,
home,
you're going
take it.
home,
Yeah,
take it,
please.
yeah.
And it's like, we didn't mind riding down with our bags, but then when you rode without them, you're like, oh, yeah,
Oh,
this is
man.
way nicer.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if we were to plot a route like that, it would be cool to be pretty minimal about it because there's a lot of little towns along the way.
Airbnb
I think
it
you
or
could
something.
Airbnb it, or you could camp and like hit some little cafes for food
Mhm.
and refuel, not have to pack all that stuff. I think that'd be pretty sweet. And I think between Albuquerque and Santa Fe, I actually think that's pretty flat, unless you dip out into the mountain range, I guess.
I think it's steady, but I think Santa Fe,
steady
I
climb
think
up.
Albuquerque is at like 5 or 6.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Albuquerque's
So,
at like
you're-
5,500 and Santa Fe's at 7, so.
Yeah.
I always say that
or
whenever
5.
anyone's like, it's, oh, we just credit card toured it. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's
fine.
a lot
That's
easier.
how
No problem there.
it
You
depends
just
on the trip.
gives you a chance to ride more, a little more during the day, possibly.
Like, we're doing Gap and CNO this summer, and we're going to bike pack it. It keeps the cost down, and there's no climbs. So it's
Right.
like, why not ride with your gear? But yeah, it's fun to not. It's fun to have a shower at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both had talked about on the way out to this trip that, it is, the trade-off is that you're not camping out in the middle of the wilderness.
Yeah.
And there's such a special feeling of being like, we rode to this point,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nowhere else we could be to sleep indoors. This is the only spot we can be right
And you
now.
push it the entire day until you basically get to that point where, like,
We're staying here.
Yeah.
this is where it's
Yeah.
going to happen because I'm not going any further.
That's a special feeling, and it definitely is a different kind of trip because of that.
Yeah.
But then that allowed us to go out and ride hard every day and know that you're going to get a good night's sleep, eat all you need, drink all you need. So, different trips, but I think that would be a really fun one out there now, especially now having some experience in that terrain. And
That'd be
having
cool,
a little
too, kind
knowledge.
of know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So if you did plan a bike packing trip out there, you're not like,
Totally.
have
You
an
know
idea of
exactly
the
what you
mileage
need.
you should
Mhm.
do, and you're not just,
What gears, what tires, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sweet. I would recommend that area to anybody. It was definitely an inviting place and super nice. And I don't think the temperature gets much higher in the summer. I think it gets
doesn't
up to
get
80.
overboard, like where Rusty and Patrick, they talk about the summer, they stay inside in the summer in Arizona.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, right.
Brutal.
Ugh.
Yeah, no,
Who's shooting out the droplets in the eggplant?
Oh, because we didn't take any breaks. That's
Oh, I see.
that's the fiddle command. Oh, what do you
studded
think?
tires.
Should we wrap it up there? It's probably almost.
So what?
Oh, it's already 11.
Excellent adventure, or
Yeah, yeah. So is it an excellent? It sounds like an excellent
like an
adventure.
excellent adventure.
Only
I
like a
think it
tiny
was
bit of bogus.
Third time's a
journey.
charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
It was
guys
all about
figured it
the
out?
ratios.
The
We had
tequila-
3 bottles.
Exactly,
Yeah.
3 bottles. All right, so yeah, before we end, we were at the liquor store on like the first day trying to like prep for going home that night, and we saw 2 bottles of mezcal. I was like, these both look good, and Micah says, "Okay, yeah, both, yeah, all right." So I grab them both and go up to pay, and then Micah continues to look at the liquor selection and grabs a bottle of tequila and brings it over. I'm like, 3 bottles? Like, we're only here for a few nights. He's like,
Yeah. We did pretty well.
we
There's
left.
a little bit left.
We left maybe a third of a bottle
Yeah,
with
well.
the host. So
Yeah.
the ratio was good.
So
The
you
riding
would've-
was good.
So if you didn't grab that, you would have been 2/3 of a bottle
See,
short.
that's
We went in
exactly
short,
what I was
exactly.
thinking, Tim. Was we would have been rationing ourselves
Uh-huh.
the whole
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
like, oh, we're getting close.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
point.
it
Good
was
point.
nice to have a little extra.
So Large just asked And which one of those chapels did you guys get married at?
The one where you heal yourself with dirt. So great. How long have you guys been married? We're not. I mean, we are, but we're not. No, we're not. It's my favorite.
I was married to a woman.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
I know where you guys are.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just my favorite Greg Milo memory, because that conversation reminded me so much of him. Was he was being interviewed on NPR at the Kent State station about his band that he had done with Hannah Minks. I don't know, what were they called? The
Eight Eyes.
Eight Eyes. Yeah, good call. She had asked him all these questions, and he answered them like Greg answers questions, just kind of like immediately taking a right or left turn. And so she reaches over, hits pause on the recording. She turns to him, leans in close, and says, "Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to answer the questions, and then we will move forward." And poor Greg, it's like, okay. He still didn't maintain after that point, but she made an effort. Amanda Rabinovich, she tried so hard. We are married, just not to each other, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
All right. Well, it's 11.
Cool.
You guys both are getting up early, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Thursday will be iffy. Going out to a birthday party, and I don't know if I'll make it back on time, but yeah. And Marge said, excuse me. And then it never aired. Yeah.
Exactly.
We can't use this.
Delete.
All right. Well, yeah. Hopefully see you guys on Thursday. But
Have you heard of that?
But it's an iffy
That's
one,
cool.
So.
Southern Ohio Adventure Loop.
Yeah, Pudgy, we'll have to check that out. The
Sounds like an excellent adventure.
SOAL.
Or a bogus journey. You never know. All right. See you guys.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.
Catch the first train.